Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Technical problems.
What's going on?
I've got
New day.
problems today.
Yeah,
I've been trying to change settings on my computer, and it's just gone completely fucking
Wow.
haywire. But
What's wrong with it? Dave, do you hear when you hear the opening music? Is it like going in and out too?
No, it was all right for me actually.
Yeah, for every time, like for some reason, when I'm backstage on your stream, that music, opening music, always is in and out. Like it sounds like choppy. Like
Yeah.
only that's the only time. Like that's weird. So I was wondering if it was for anyone else like that.
oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't play it back, so I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know. So
It's like whatever I did that time. That's how it is now. What's up, Zodiac? Jay.
I'm just trying to get into the. See, at the minute, I can't even get into my own screen. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, there we go. Sorry. Right. Okay, so we got Jay in the chat. What's up, Jay? Zodiac's in the chat.
Yeah.
Been a couple. Well, it's been 2 weeks since I think I spoke to you, JT, and I think Dave. It's been about a good 6 weeks, maybe, or
Yeah, must be something like that. Yeah, it feels like it's been a while. I've missed you guys.
Right. Yeah. And we got Demons too.
Ooh. We do.
Have you not watched that yet? Did you not watch?
No, we watched Demons.
Oh,
and now
of
we're watching
course, yeah.
Demons too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
greatest
think-
sequel ever made.
It is a great one. It is a
They're
fun
they're both solid films. I like both Demons.
one. Oh
films.
yeah.
Oh, I think they're just great fun. They make absolutely
So
zero sense,
much.
but that's why I love them.
So much fun. And the second one is just as much fun almost for me. The effects aren't quite the same. Like quality wise, I think the effects are a lot better in the first one.
Yeah,
But they're still good in the second one. It's a fun movie.
I just love the fact that a demon comes out the TV. I mean, that's it. That's all you
Yeah,
need to know
yeah,
about
yeah.
that movie, innit?
Way before whatchamacallit, Samara or Sadako
Yeah,
came through that TV of hers.
and it's the same reaction with me every time. If I see
Oh.
a demon coming through my TV, it's getting a cricket bat to the face straight away. I'm not going to let it literally come all the way through into my front room or
Yeah,
bedroom
you
or whatever.
gotta at least start pushing its head back in or
Yeah.
something, right? You know,
Or like we always say,
Something.
JT, just absolutely drop kick the motherfucker straight back through the TV. You know what I mean?
and then maybe you end up in the TV with it.
Oh, I
Hey,
didn't think
Sean,
about
what's
that.
up?
I
know,
will
right? You
not-
gotta think of that.
I have not seen Barbie. I will not be seeing Barbie.
I will not. Same. I will co-sign that previously.
I'll co-sign that as well.
Yeah, not happening.
No, not for me. Not at all.
No, like not at all. Like an interest in. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad people like it.
Yeah, I'm
As
glad it's
usual.
doing well, but not for me.
It's done hell. I mean, that Oppenheimer has kind of been a strange, like what the cinemas this year haven't really done great. You know, a lot of the Disney Marvel movies are failing, and Indiana Jones has lost a fortune.
Yeah.
And it's kind of strange that Oppenheimer, because it's a bit of a niche movie. You know, it's a 3-hour film, and it's not really the sort of thing you'd expect to get mass appeal.
Mm.
But that
Yeah.
and Barbie together, kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like some sort
I-
of marketing ploy to get people to the cinema, but it certainly seems to work.
It
Oh, for
absolutely
sure.
works, yeah.
I mean, I think it's just for, and I don't know much about the Barbie movie, but I've heard it, like these things from some people, like that there are messages in there, which we of course would expect, and it's probably just bringing some people in just to see what the hell they're trying to say in a Barbie movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's probably what's bringing some people in that you would never think would be watching a Barbie movie. It's just to see, like, I wonder how they're handling this. I wonder what agenda they might be pushing, like all that type of bullshit, you know, that you hear. Like,
See,
I'm sure they thought of that to get people in there.
Like the thing of the Barbie film is like there was always going to be like a sort of like strong feminine message to it, but it's Barbie, so it didn't really bother me. If you're going to if you're going to push this like feminist agenda, do it in a Barbie film. Don't do it in a Marvel movie where your main,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, if your core audience is going to be like men, and you're pushing this like feminine sort of angle, like
Yeah,
it's just
crazy agenda.
it's just all women all the time. It's just like that, and they wonder why they lose money. It's not rocket science.
Look at the Black Christmas remake.
God.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Jesus.
That was
fucking-
horrible.
Yeah, no, it's atrocious.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insulting.
Look at if you look at Wonder Woman 2, it's like every
I
man
never
in
saw
that
it.
film was every man in Wonder Woman 2, like virtually every man in the film is like a borderline rapist.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like
crazy.
there's no decent male characters in the movie. It's
I
just
thought it was very accurate, to be fair.
yeah. No.
Yeah, you know, a second thought.
And yet
They nailed it.
He nailed it.
the irony of that film is Wonder Woman rapes a man.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It does. You know, he didn't give permission
That's
to
interesting.
him.
That's
He looked, yeah, but you know, he didn't mind, did he? Let's be honest with you, I wouldn't mind either.
He wasn't filing lawsuits the next morning, I'm sure.
He could have been gay.
Don't think he was.
He could have been. Talking about the other movie, what the Oppenheimer one. I mean, it's just
I haven't seen it.
alone. His name has got people into that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's say, like, I didn't even know who Oppenheimer was before
No.
this film came out. I had no idea.
No clue.
Same, absolutely same. I haven't seen the film yet, but I hear
I
it is
haven't
really
either.
good.
That's what I've been hearing also.
Yeah,
And
it's-
what's that horror? The new horror one that came out? Something of the Demeter, Night of the Demeter.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Oh,
not.
the Dracula one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That has been getting a lot of good talk. Actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
so I've
it's
seen,
not-
yeah.
It's not being released in the UK, so
Well,
I don't think we'll get
it's
that.
Pearl. It's Pearl all over again.
Yeah. Did we get?
You got it eventually, right? I
Yeah.
think you did. Yeah, but like a long while afterwards. Yeah.
But yeah, this last voyage of Demeter, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it's tanked at the box office, but
Yeah,
it would help if you like gave it a worldwide release at the
Yeah,
same time.
exactly.
So it's not,
Exactly.
because I
Especially.
seem to remember. I'm sure they dropped. What did they drop? What's the Stephen King remake?
Oh,
Oh.
the Boogeyman,
No, oh no. Is that
the most recent
yet?
one. Wasn't
that's
the
been and
Boogeyman?
gone, mate. I think.
Yeah, that came and
Has
went
it?
already.
Yeah.
that never came? That didn't come out in cinemas in the UK, did it?
I want to say yes, but I didn't go and see
I
it.
don't. I
Yeah.
don't remember. The last,
Yeah, that definitely
Stephen-
came and went for sure.
Yeah.
The last Stephen King remake, but I remember seeing in the cinema. Well, I didn't go into the cinema to see it. Was Firestarter,
Oh, okay.
and
yeah.
that was marketing genius because they put that film onto streaming whilst it was still in the cinema. I think.
Oh, but they had no
Oh,
faith
who
in
in
that movie at
Who
all.
in the
did
right
they?
mind is who's paying money to the cinema to go and see that? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it was a nothing movie. It was just completely.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
mean,
there's not much I'd pay to go see anymore. Like, and it's been that way for years. Like maybe Saw 10, I might see in theaters. Just
I'm gonna
because,
check.
like,
Yeah,
just because of the tradition of seeing it like all those 7 years in a row for the first 7 and stuff. Maybe I'll see it in theaters with a friend or something. But
I'm
besides
definitely gonna
that,
go
like-
and check that out.
yeah, besides that, I'm not. I would never go to a theater anymore. It's like $22 for one ticket for an adult,
yeah, it
Jesus.
is.
and that's not counting popcorn and food and shit. That's another $50 before you know it. So it's like $100 and something experience now.
I just smuggle that in. I just.
Oh yeah, you have to.
I mean, I
Doing
will.
that since middle school.
I do know that like obviously cinemas do make most of their money from the food and drink. So
Yeah,
I try and buy. I'll buy something,
Mm.
but I'm not buying everything. I'll take
Yeah,
a drink
Steve.
in.
You're like, I'll take
I'll
that
buy-
cheapest shit you got right there.
Yeah, I do try and buy
And your
popcorn.
pocket's filled.
It's
I
the
do try
only
and buy
place, mate.
popcorn because
Yeah. It's the only
I love
place
popcorn.
cinema makes money, mate, is in concessions. It
Oh,
was
absolutely.
the same.
I-
The same
I-
with us.
Yeah, well, you worked in one too, Dave.
Yeah.
I used to work in one too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
even on like
that's
ticket
that's
sales.
where they make their money. Is
Yeah,
all
even
on
with
that
ticket sales, we hardly made anything.
stuff. Yeah,
You know.
I mean, I do try and buy popcorn because if it's a movie I really want to see and it's a bit of a long epic, I do want to get that cinema feeling. Popcorn is really
yeah, like
does give you that.
popcorn is delicious too.
But I'll just take a bottle of Coke in.
Mate, we had one time, I remember this story, I mean, the things you used to see at the end of a movie, what you would find in the cinema screen anyway. But this one guy actually left, what he brought his own bowl, some cornflakes, and a pint of milk with him and a spoon, and he left this like
It's too
he
funny.
left this bowl and a spoon in the screen, and he came back the next day for it, and I handed it back to him, and I just went, "Mate, that's brilliant. Here you go."
They can't actually.
Cereal and shit.
You are you actually? I don't know about the US, but in the UK, you are actually allowed to take your own food and drink in,
Yeah.
aren't you?
You are.
But you
Unless-
just, I don't like to,
Yeah,
make it
not
obvious.
here in America. they get mad. They'd be like, "No, you
Yeah.
got to throw that shit out." Like now.
I think each cinema's probably different with the rules, but we used to let people bring their own stuff in, but not if it was like hot food or anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
You could bring
Well,
that's-
sweets in and stuff, but
Yeah.
you couldn't
I
bring
mean,
in like say a chippy dinner or something.
No, because that'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like restaurants and pubs and bars. You wouldn't go into a bar with hot food and sit at the table and eat it.
Yeah,
Well, if
exactly.
you had a-
like a
you'd
flick
have a-
from
if you-
food from somewhere else instead of
Yeah.
some restaurant.
Yeah, that's taking the piss. But
Yeah, absolutely.
let's just jump into the chat. Sean says best thing about Firestarter remake was the score by John Carpenter.
I still haven't seen the remake.
No, I haven't bothered myself.
Zodiac's
I
never
am
looked at the
interested
remake.
though, to hear the score though.
Sean says got his IMAX tickets booked for June Part 2.
And IMAX, you know how much IMAX tickets go for at Regal Cinemas, which is where I used to work?
Go on.
Probably like $30-something,
Jesus
$36 or something like that for one ticket for IMAX. That's insane.
Bloody hell. Do you get a foot massage as well?
No, you don't get shit. Your feet don't get any attention or touched one bit. You just
Not good.
yeah, your ass feels like it's getting pounded, for what every cent it's worth. But besides that, it's just a regular cinema experience.
I actually don't know what that feels like.
People,
You haven't paid $36 for an IMAX ticket.
just gonna say people pay good money for that, mate.
That's funny. You better.
I'll definitely be going
Yeah.
to see Dune 2 though at the cinema. Definitely.
Which one?
I'll definitely be going to the cinema to see Dune 2 because Dune 1
Yeah.
I thought was fucking brilliant. So
That's something I still need to check out. Actually,
it's a fucking brilliant movie. I loved it. And I'm not a fan of the original film, so it's not.
I've never seen the original
I've
neither.
never read the books or anything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I've never been a big Dune fan, and that's saying something because Dune, the original movie, was David Lynch, which it's not a favorite Lynch film.
it's
of mine.
definitely an acquired taste, that film.
And it wasn't. He wasn't even into that project really. Like
No.
was
he
was Sting
didn't really
in the
want to
original?
do it.
Yeah, Sting's in it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kyle
Kyle MacLachlan.
yeah.
Okay.
Zodiac says you've got to have a chick with a purse in the US to sneak stuff in.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Yeah, Sean saw Oppenheimer IMAX was amazing.
Yeah, I could imagine.
So that's a nice little segue into. I did like make a note of a few topics tonight, which I thought we could cover. I did actually send a link to Gareth, and he's chickened out and not turned up. I don't know why. I don't know where he is. He can't.
He's probably sleeping.
It's like it's only 5 to 10. He should be.
He's probably
So-
sleeping, that old man.
He's
He'll
probably.
be-
He just turned 50, man.
Yeah. Oh
He's
yeah, of
getting
course,
there.
yeah.
Now
So,
bedtime is like 9 o'clock for him.
He's probably whoring himself out on another channel.
Yeah.
He's probably whored himself out on the street somewhere.
Well, he's at nearly 2,000 subs now, so I'm way below him. I'm like
Right?
with a 200 sub channel. He's just too big now.
Yeah,
He's too big.
he's becoming
Don't
Billy
inflate
Big
his
Bollocks
ego
now.
or anything.
Yeah, Billy Big Bollocks. Yeah.
Billy Big Bollocks.
So, talk about cinemas.
Mm.
Nice little segue. So, the question is, should we support all horror at the cinema to basically push things financially, make it more financially viable, and just the more horror, obviously the better the horror does at the cinema where it matters, it just means more money coming into the business, the horror business. That's basically the point I'm trying to get. It's like, should we support horror, like, regardless of like whether it's average, below average? Should we just try and get out there and just give our money? It sounds like a stupid. It sounds like it does. It sounds like a stupid, because this is not really. This is a question I think that Lorne asked a year or two ago in a stream,
Mm-hmm.
and he was very much in. I think he was very much in the the idea that we should do as much as we can to like push it and like support as much as we can. And I do get that.
Mm.
And in an ideal world, we should be able to go and see every horror movie that drops in the cinema, because at the end of the day, we should really be going to support cinema as much as possible to keep cinema alive.
Yeah, just
Because
full
obviously,
stop.
yeah. But in terms of horror specifically, because obviously this is like more of a horror themed channel, and horror still like a more niche genre. I know people go, well, horror's like mainstream. It is mainstream, but you don't see.
I know what you mean.
You don't see a $200 million horror film being made. It's always because they don't need to be, but they do operate on a far smaller budget, and they can get massive returns, but. I think the point I'm trying to make is, if you look at the way the big IPs constantly make money, despite being they could be complete dog shit, but people still go and see them. We still support. I mean, I went to see Halloween Ends in the cinema,
Oh,
and it
don't
was
say
fucking.
that.
Yeah,
Don't say
that's
that name. Oh.
But I think that's the.
I watched that shit right home.
I think that's the point I'm trying to make. Is we'll happily support bad horror movies we know and love in like new iterations of them. But if it's a new sort of like IP, new movie which is getting poor reviews, we'll kind of go, well, I'm not going to go and watch that. But we will go and watch. If Friday the 13th part like 74 is terrible, I'll probably still go and watch it in the cinema and pay money.
I'll be there open at night.
If you understand the point I'm trying to make, we need to have a bit. So
I don't know. I wouldn't. I just support a film on its own basis. So I mean, if there's a movie that I like or that I went and I saw, or I'll support that film. I'm not going to just support anything just for the sake of it. I don't know. I can't. Like, I'm not going to support movies that I think are shit just for the sake of bringing more money to the horror genre in general.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel about it.
It's a catch-22 because like
it is.
We want more money to come into the genre to create more. If horror movies are doing well at the cinema, that just encourages like production companies to like really pump the money in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, shit shouldn't be rewarded.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
like
That's
Skinamarink.
I knew you were going to mention that.
Yeah. Someone was. I was thinking of it.
If I paid good money to go and see that piece of shit in the cinema, and everybody else had paid good money to go and see, and if that film had done like Blair Witch style money, and that would just encourage the fucking dickhead director to just make another Skinamarink movie, I'd be like, no, we're just encouraging people to make shit. I don't fucking care.
Didn't we get another Skinamarink type fucking movie recently? Enyas Men or whatever? I didn't see it. But it's very Skinamarink-ish, I've heard.
Enyas Men is kind of more entertaining.
Is it? I still haven't.
I was kind of invested far longer than Skinamarink.
So more than 5 minutes.
It's very artsy, artsy.
Yeah.
I actually think the closest thing to Skinamarink I saw was that Outliers. Is it Outliers?
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of. That was another. Not Enyas Men. I'm thinking of Outliers.
Outliers was another fucking atrocious film.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, you have Skinamarink do well and shit, and then you get a movie that's similar to it.
So it's like, so sorry, Dave, because I've let you get your opinion across as well.
No, it's me. I was actually enjoying listening to you two.
No, but you for someone who worked in a cinema as well, it's like you've probably got an opinion about because you want to keep cinemas alive, right? So
100%, yeah. I mean, but I kind of agree with JT. What JT said. Yeah, you can't reward fucking shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Support a film that deserves to be supported, like 100%, and that's across all genres. It doesn't just have to stay with horror. It could be anything. Because, like you say, if I would have paid like £10, £15 for Skinamarink, I would have been really pissed off for that.
Oh, I would have murdered someone as soon as
You know,
walked out the theater.
yeah. So I get the argument on both sides. I can see valid points on both reasons. I would love to see horror supported more in cinema, but then does the movie actually justify the support as well? You know, it's the yin and yang of it, really, isn't it? But I would love. I think horror does actually get supported quite well in cinema. To be fair,
it does. And what I would add is that I think it's more important to make sure that we support and pay attention to indie horror. Yeah. Because just look how well that's been doing lately. Like, even though you can throw Skinamarink in there and movies like that, but look at Terrifier 2 from last year. How fucking amazing that did. And
I would have loved to have seen that in the cinema, you know.
Yeah, like just that film. There's a few others. There's been a lot of good independent filmmaking that's been coming out, and that needs to get more attention too. That's why, like, since we all have channels and stuff, any chance that you get that you can like promote somebody's upcoming movie or something like that, like I always hop on that. You should, like, just to get the word out, because you never know. And a lot of times they turn out being good movies. Like, in my experience, but indie horror needs as much support as it can possibly get, because that you don't have to worry about Hollywood and all the bullshit.
Zodiac says, I can't support something just to support. I have to care about what I'm supporting. I won't support things like Halloween Ends or even Scream at this point. That sucks. That's a kind of it. Bringing that point up is like, as well, Halloween Ends more like, I wasn't really that bothered about seeing it at the cinema, but. And this is where it comes into like slightly selfish terms now, because I mean, you guys, Dave, with your channel, especially with like doing trailer reactions and stuff, it's like we know that Halloween, Scream get views on videos. My most popular live streams have got Scream or Halloween or Friday the 13th in the title. We did a live stream, me and you, Dave, and I think JC, I don't know if JC, you might have been there as well, because it had Scream in the title, or it was in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
That stream got like nearly 400 views, whereas like a normal stream where it's just like I just put like R3 faces or R2 faces regardless, will get maybe 150, 180 views. So like, even though I wasn't extremely excited to see Halloween Ends or Scream 6, I wanted to get out there and get them seen, to get a reaction out, and to do a live stream as well. Because like the live stream I did for Halloween, I think that me and you, JT, we did like we did kind of the Halloween Ends like live stream, like, which was like it dropped the day of release.
And then we did it
like, that was like I had like 20 people nearly like in the stream watching at one point, which for me is like, that's like the highest number of people I've ever had. And because people want to hear the reaction to a movie like Halloween Ends, it's so you kind of that's the issue you come across. It's like they keep on churning out these tried and tested IPs, and
I can't do that. Like, I can't talk about the same movie. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this. That I can't talk about the same movie over and over again, like nonstop. Like, it's just like always got to be a new movie, new video, and then move on to the next one. Yeah, and just a new experience each time. It's like, I get it. People love their franchises, love their movies, and good for them if they can like make stream multiple times a week and stuff of talking about the same franchises. But I can't. Right, but that's just me. How much can you say about the same things?
I'm exactly the same, mate. Like, I see certain channels, and I'm good on them. I mean, and they're good at what they do. But they're always like kind of talking about Scream or Halloween. It's like the same
Friday the 13th
thing every week, and it's like, man, I would be bored to death doing that. Because you say, JT, what fresh? What can you say that's going to be fresh and new that we haven't already like the ground that you've covered before?
And even like I guess like with like franchises that have newer movies coming up or something, like in theories and stuff. Like, it's fun to speculate for sure. Yeah. but it's like, how much can you until you reach the point that it's like, it doesn't matter what the theories are. The movie's coming soon. We'll find out. So like, I don't know. That's just my thought on it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, mate.
I need a new movie, new experience. That's why I never cover the same thing more than like once on a rare occasion. Like, I just got to.
That's why JT uploads. That's why JT uploads 300 videos a week. he's always got something new to talk about.
That's it. It's not gonna be the fucking
Halloween
ends all the time.
I felt bad that I didn't upload for about 5 days.
I don't think I was meant to tag JT in that because I commented on your post, and I don't think JT saw it, and I said JT's uploaded like 374 times since you last uploaded. Like,
I think
it felt lazy.
It tells me like the numbers. I'm pretty sure like I average like 80 videos a month or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
But not all of them are my long ass discussions. Some like short guitar videos and stuff like that. So I mean, it averages out. So I don't. You've got a lot, I guess, but.
You've got your Elden Ring triple roll,
the streams
triple jump, whatever that.
Whatever all that shit that you don't understand.
No, I don't fucking clue what you're talking about. I'm just like.
It was fun. I was playing Dark Souls 3 with Phil earlier.
Oh,
who's in our follower, Phil?
Phil.
Fun. So
fun. Too hard that game. Never played it, but it just looks.
Exactly. It looks impossible. I mean, I watch JT die all the time on that, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to.
That's just I'm doing crazy restricted kills though. It's hard normally, but anybody can beat them.
Have you played JT? Are you going to get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game?
I am going to actually download it as soon as this is over because it's on Game Pass for Xbox.
Yeah.
And since my tablet's Microsoft, I use Bing, like, because it's default, and it builds up points. It basically pays for Xbox Live like every month, and Game Pass. So it's being waited to download, waiting to be downloaded. Yeah,
I might actually have to get that game because I'm on Xbox as well. I don't really play it. So I can play JT at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, I'll be shit. I'll be terrible, like, but
I haven't played it. I have no idea what I'm doing either. So, but let's do it.
I hope it's better than that.
Can you buy it physically, or is it just digital?
No, it's all digital. I think.
Yeah, I'm not. They probably will release a physical copy for sure.
The physical
already.
Like if the one type of media like is the most under threat from like streaming is video games. Books will always survive, definitely. There's still. I mean, Blu-rays, 4Ks, they'll last to a certain point, but video games, no. Video games will go to streaming very soon, and you'll no longer be able to physically buy.
They're struggling already.
I hope not, though, mate. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. I've downloaded some games, but I like buying it physically. I like having a physical copy of It's the same with movies as well. I like having a physical copy of it.
Yeah.
I went digital with everything. Like, I don't own a physical game anymore. I had like 300 and something games, all digital.
Zodiac says, I would love to be able to support everything because that means we're all getting good films, but that's just isn't the case. And Joseph, what's up, man? We've got Joseph in the chat.
How you doing,
Joseph, if you want to link your channel in the comments,
go
ahead, because I'm not sure how many, there'll be people in the chat who may not be subscribed to you because you've really come over from JT's channel, right? So, just link your channel in the chat if you want to, man. I just almost done watching Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers. Finished Halloween 1978 last night. Yeah, you've been on a Halloween, definitely been on a Halloween marathon.
Joseph, I do have a little news for you since you love Danielle Harris. Not a big thing, or don't get your hopes up, but I did reach out and talk to her manager yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So.
No, Joseph, don't leave. Don't worry.
Again, I have no idea, and I would highly doubt it ever happens, but who knows? But just letting you know, Joseph, your favorite actress was contacted by me.
There's some strange man lurking in the back area. I don't know whether to let him in or not.
Oh God, let him go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Here
go.
he is.
Finally turns up.
Oh, there he is.
Well, the ratio for Scousers was off, so.
Technically, I'm not Scouse.
We thought you fell asleep.
I hear Scouse when you talk.
You have
So.
a screen poster. You have that screen poster. Did you just put that up? Because I'm here.
No. This is an original.
Just let me sort my dog out. I'll just check out a second.
You
My
know,
dog's
kick the
getting
shit
on.
out of it.
Yeah, get that. Take the shit out of it. That's great.
Drop kick it back up the bedroom.
Hey, Joseph, how are you? Right, I'm in charge now. No, I
Oh,
can't
here we go.
That's
Been
right.
hijacked.
Let him
amateur
take
hour
over.
now.
Yeah,
It's
I
always
thought it
amateur hour
was
when
your
I'm on.
bedtime.
Hey, Zodiac, how are you? See? Yeah, it's past my bedtime. You've got 20 minutes. I'm going.
We said earlier. He said that you may be coming. And I said, "Yo, he's 50 now. Don't forget. Like, his fucking bedtime's 9 p.m. now."
Exactly. This is my third live stream tonight, and I'm without a drink on the first one.
What was
I
your,
told you he was
who else
scoring
you on?
himself out.
Who else are you on?
I was on mine from 7:30 until just after 9. Then I've just been on Rob's vintage video. So, and now this.
So last orders at my stream.
It's where all the drunks end up.
Scum of the earth. And they got some glue to get me through the night.
Hey,
Oh well.
Blue.
There you go. He's gonna be sniffing glue.
80s style. I'm a retro channel.
Yeah.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Sniffing glue.
Exactly.
Should just do a whole live stream of you just sniffing glue, Gareth.
I'm not sure if
Can
that
you
top
imagine that?
That would lose you your sort of benefits of being a 1,000 subscriber plus channel.
typical
Yeah.
Scouse for bringing up benefits in the conversation.
No. That's a nice little segue into the next topic tonight.
Oh, there's a topic tonight. Hang
I'm
on.
trying to keep. Well, I'm trying to
There's
stay.
been a few actually.
I'm trying to be professional. You know. But I thought this would be a good.
You guys mentioned popcorn before you. I had
Green.
I had some. I had to fucking grab that popcorn. Oh man, I want to scream.
Okay, now because we got Gareth, this is a good time to bring this topic up because Gareth's here. Because Gareth is kind of like a bit of a big deal now. You know, he's not like
Yeah,
his
I
little-
got 20 more subs, and I don't have to deal with you 3 anymore.
Why? What happens? What happens then?
The 2000 Club.
I
Yeah.
know.
We get fucked up.
No,
didn't we?
you like us because here you're a big fish in a small pond.
So
So if you move up to the bigger channels, you're just going to be like us then. So the
no,
question,
I'll be on. I'm expecting a call from Cody Leach or Drum Dums any day.
yeah. Oh God, fuck them guys.
Dumb guy.
I can bathe.
I'm just waiting for your corporate approved review of a new cinema release. You know, it's like,
I'm penciling in the Snow White already for a.
don't veer away
positive
from
review.
don't veer away from like what we told us to say, Gareth. There's a gun in your head.
Yeah, stay on script.
Yeah, hang on. Where is my script? Oh, I mean, I
Yeah,
only
right.
tell the truth.
Okay, so let me get this question out before Gareth disappears to bed.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
the question is, does YouTube support small creators enough, and do we need an alternative to YouTube to push
Ooh.
them?
You're not on your channel, remember?
Because YouTube is like YouTube's the only game
You can be honest.
for people of our level. YouTube's the only game in town. Obviously, like Rumble is getting a lot of the bigger creators over there as well because
No.
they can do stuff over there which they can't do on YouTube because it's censorship and all that. But I mean, does YouTube? I mean, talking to you, Gareth, specifically,
Your point.
being a channel with nearly 2,000 subs. What could YouTube do more for you?
I have no idea what it does. It doesn't do anything for me now.
Yeah, you gotta
don't-
hit
But
that
I mean-
$100 a month first before
But
you
how
get
does
paid.
it? But how does? But help me out here because when you get to like closing on 2,000 subs, does anything change with the algorithms that you're aware of?
I have no idea. I don't think
Because
so.
you're gaining subs.
'Cause I've thought of that too.
Surely when you hit 1,000 subs, you should start to seem to gain subs at a far quicker rate than what you do between. Because you've hit 2,000.
Or see
the-
older videos numbers start going up too.
Mm.
And I have wondered that if after either you're accepted into the partnership program or hit 1,000, that the sun switch goes off.
Well, yeah, I can't talk about it on my channel, but I can talk about it on this one. So
Exactly.
I have no idea. I think after 1,000 subs, the subs go up quicker.
I would say that.
The views don't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because let's have a look. So yeah, it's about the same as it's always been.
Because then you like see channels that like have like maybe 50,000 subs, and like every video theirs is in the tens of thousands of views, and it's like, how did all that shit get there? Like, eventually, right?
So
It's like
people with 8 or 10,000 subs, they're still seeing the same couple of hundred views for a video.
Yeah, exactly, the opposite too.
Yeah,
I mean,
So
I noticed myself, like when I hit 600, I noticed my views on my videos kind of started to jump up a bit more as well. Because like normally when I put a review out, I'd get maybe 30, 40 views at most when I first kind of started. Now they're kind of in between like 100 to 300 views. So I kind of did see that leap initially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I first started. So
like my
there
watch
must be something
hours,
to it.
my watch hours have gone up a lot like the last few months.
Yeah.
Which I'd
That's
rather
because you
take
put
that
10
over
videos out a
views.
day.
And I'd rather, well, it means people are watching now. A year ago, it was maybe, 5 people?
Yeah.
Well, there's another thing as well. Like, I did like a Jeepers Creepers like live watch along, which is on 29,000 views, but it was gaining like 1,000 views like every like 3 weeks or something. Now it's just stopped. So it's obviously stopped being recommended. It was getting recommended in Mexico and South America for some reason.
That's like my Cannibal Holocaust video. Remember? 42,000, and then it stopped.
But then
dead in its tracks.
Yeah, this. So I was getting all my watch hours up through this one video, and now it's just stopped. It might get like 100 views a month when it was getting 1,000 views a month or 2,000 views a month.
Yeah,
and my watch hours now, I'm nowhere near 500 subs to get the next. They've changed the rules, haven't they? So it was 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, and now it's 500 subs.
Yeah, I don't understand them.
But
it's 500 subs and 3,000 watch hours in a 365-day period.
Isn't it 4,000? It's 4,000 watch hours for me.
No, I'm saying for if you want, there's 2 different things now. They split it, so you can get, like I did, you can get super chats and membership early if you have 500 subs, 3 videos a month, and 3,000 watch hours. And then the next thing is when you get full monetization, like Mr. G-Man, then you need 1,000, 4,000 hours, and what I'm guessing the same 3 videos a month or some shit.
I haven't looked since it's been happened. But me and
I must
Dave,
admit,
watch party that's going off, haven't we?
They're
very popular.
I was literally just about to bring that up because I've gained a few subscribers. I'm pretty sure it's got to be from there. It's got to be. Yeah. So that's helped me out a little bit, but I can't believe that. Is that up to like 26,000 now?
It is 26,000. He's going up like 1,000 every couple of days.
I saw. And I tell you what, Dave, the watch parties you did with Gareth and I did with Gareth.
Yeah,
like over 700 views. Some of the best performing videos. So really, he should just have an exclusive. Fuck this Jew Sly nonsense. Maybe just a month of me and Dave doing like videos. And
a Savage Zombie month.
Now I don't. Now for some reason, I don't think the Carry On Girls stream did quite as well as the American Pie.
See,
I don't know why.
Oh, that's a puzzle of that, mate.
So yeah, the Double Impact. The first 30 seconds has 25,000 views. The whole, but that's about then it tails off. But then I'm not getting full money from it either because it's Dave saying awful things about certain people probably that have been demonetized.
What?
Racist or sexist or something. But yeah, it's had 172 watch hours.
If it wasn't for Dave, Gareth would drive around in a Bentley now.
He turned
a stolen one either.
He turned off in the first 30 seconds as soon as he heard my accent.
I can't understand it. Subtitles.
We need subtitles.
But, yeah.
I'm always at the light and polite on your streams, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. I never say it.
Yeah. It's always light and polite on mine. For the most part, right? We're good.
Bachelor party coming up. That's not going to be offensive, is it?
It'll be the first time I'm ever seeing it, mate. So,
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I didn't even know this film was a thing until you brought it up to me like a couple of months back.
Wait, which one?
Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
I've heard of it. I don't think I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like your.
We got Mothman Prophecies.
It's not horror.
Next week we got Mothman.
Oh yes, Mothman next week.
Yeah, Mothman next
So
Friday.
you can go off on a tangent about conspiracies.
Yeah,
I do like your. I do like your woke watch. Your woke watch videos with the offended. With the offended blue head.
Those are
I have to
funny.
dress up for these.
Have to rename your channel Woke Tasties.
Oh, I can do that.
Video of tasties.
Fighting against the.
It's probably the easiest. It's probably the easiest gig in the world. Just taking it. No offense to you, like, but finding an eight. No, but no. Seriously, though, it's like what I'm trying to say is that the insanity of like modern day is like you can take any film from the 80s and just go, well, that's offensive. That's offensive. That's offensive.
Pretty much.
I mean,
that's why I'm doing Ace Ventura tomorrow with a
Pets Detective.
pro-trans posting on it.
I like when Nature Calls better.
I love them both, but
When Nature Calls is my favorite.
Yeah,
It
I
always
love them
has
both. But I remember when I first watched Ace Ventura, man, I went to the cinema to watch it, and I was just crying, laughing, watching that.
They still
loved it.
Yeah. And then the Cable Guy, another one with him.
Cable Guy.
Cable Guy's good. Yeah,
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite comedies.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie.
Jim Carrey's so creepy in that.
I know. And it works so perfectly. With his lisp and everything, too. Like, it's so fun.
let me just catch up with the chat. Don't want to ignore the. I don't want to ignore the chat because Gareth has a tendency to do that sometimes when he's busy. But you know, no, he's actually very. Gareth's actually very good at interacting with the chat. You know, some channels, man. Some channels just fucking
don't bother.
Well, once I get 2,000, I can say it's on the chat.
Basically, people are saying hello to Gareth.
Hey
Dave. Hey, Jave and JT in your videos, Tasties. Did a live interview with Dwight Help from Halloween 4? He did.
Twice.
Yes, he did.
I still need to check out your interview with the guy that was in Monster Squad. I need to give that a watch. I haven't seen it yet.
So-called mates, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. What's up, Jamie?
I was sleeping at the time, mate. Well, no, actually, I was in the pub.
Lock in.
We got who's this now? Now then, Mike, you're
Now
sleeping
then, Mike, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel with Garrett on here, aren't you?
I don't know what. I'm not
Jolly Mary Poppins.
That was the worst impression of Gareth. Ricky I've ever heard.
Well, I
JT,
tried.
I will counter that. That was the best.
JT's
We're
done
getting mixed reviews now.
He's done the most generic English accents I've ever.
That was the point.
But Ricky's a generic Englishman.
That was Sid James.
That was the point.
That was almost as bad to say, "Cool, blow me, Governor." That was Dick Van Dyke.
That's funny.
At least he didn't
insult
your hairline there.
It's meant as the most loving impression possible, Ricky.
I need to wear hats more.
Apparently, I'm not good at it. So,
JT, when we meet up, mate, you've got to do a British accent to me when we meet up.
all right, I'll talk to you any way you want.
You're doing his best George Michael impression first.
All right.
Yeah, we'll go for a walk through the park.
You won't hear JT's impression with his mouth full.
No.
Oh, unfortunately, it won't be full.
All right, so what's going on in the chat? Huh?
This is going to some weird places.
That's her. My mind's so checked out.
Just wear a rainbow t-shirt, JT. You'll be fine.
And a sticky biscuit.
I don't want a sticky biscuit. No.
Joseph says, I'm still excited to meet Daniel Harris in Lexington, Kentucky for Scarefest, my favourite actress.
I'm sure you are.
I always feel like, with the whole Daniel Harris thing, because we always associate with being like a little girl.
Yeah.
It's always like a little bit of a, oh yeah, she's so like fit and attractive and all that. Because I just associate.
I know you think of her as back then. That's the first thing most of we probably all saw her.
I was just gonna say, mate, she's like fucking around our age now.
I think she's like the same age as me. She's like old as she's old. not as old as Gareth, obviously, but not many people are
better than you.
Yeah. Gareth, you don't look a day over 49, mate.
Yeah, you do not.
Fucking bullied now. Glad I'm leaving you all behind.
Welcome to Liverpool, Gav.
Time for a kicking.
Well, once I get and meet you there, then I'm gonna kick your ass. Believe in us.
Yeah, you've got to come. You've got to come to us, JT, because you're a Beatles fan. So
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have to get to Liverpool.
This is the place where Paul once pissed up a light post.
Well, like I've said to JT before, I'm heading to New York in October, so I'll be coming to see you, mate.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. going to New York Comic Con for 3 days. So.
Man, that just reminds me. Daniel House is 46, which is the same age as me. Yeah. I was reading about the guy. I think you mentioned this, JT, a couple of weeks ago. There's a guy who was like a serial killer in Long Island. And
the Gilgo.
He lives like 10 minutes from JT.
he lives.
It's not JT, by the way. The guy's being arrested. JT is not the killer.
Yes, he lived on my cousin's block. That's what I said last time we talked about it. My cousin Lisa.
And he looks,
on her block.
You know what?
JT wore her skin.
These serial killers are people that disappear for days on end without notice.
That's right. Gilgo Beach. Oh, that shit right there.
I read about this guy. It's like they'll make a movie about this guy. Definitely. Now he's being charged. Once he gets found guilty, and has he been found guilty, or is he still on? Is he still the trial?
I haven't been following it. I'm sure they. I don't even know how much news there is on it. All I know is that they arrested the shit out of him. There's no way. There's no way that he's getting out of that shit. Like they found stuff at the house, and
I love that. They didn't just arrest them; they arrested the shit out of him.
Banged up the slammer.
That's proper arrested. That.
Damn right. That's how you arrest someone.
They gave
the shit out of him.
They had an article on it in the news over here, like in one of the newspapers, and they gave us like where he lived, his exact address. I went on Google Maps and just like went, and his street is like, it's like the perfect. It's kind of like that sort of street you get in like a movie like Sinister, or you know what I mean. It's like that, like it's or Haddonfield type setting. So it's perfect for a horror film, and so
maybe it was Sinister. Maybe it wasn't him.
I didn't know GB News had a newspaper.
Oh. It was actually it was the Daily Mail, actually.
I knew it.
I love GB News.
GB News is great.
Is that the name of the paper, the Daily Mail?
Yeah. No, it's not. No, it's not like
the one. That's your name. Okay.
It's not a homosexual newspaper. It's MAIL. It's not MALE.
No, I thought the name of it was just called like the Daily Mail. Like instead of the New York Times we have here, I thought the name was the Daily Mail. So no one thought of anything better than that.
No.
Oh, it's not like Grizzly Bear Men or anything like that. It's Daily Mail, like
it's like calling it a newspaper.
Yeah,
it was probably the Daily Sport, more like.
Yeah, the Daily Sport. Yeah.
Hey, Lauren is in the chat.
But it was the Daily Mail that I only realised when I did my review for the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. The Daily Mail gave it 9 out of 10, and it's on the front of the DVD.
Dude, that review was so funny.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, that movie's terrible.
It's awful. Yeah.
It's so bad. Always has. Always will.
Yeah.
Lauren, we've just while Lauren's in the chat, I just want to say we've just been discussing something I think you brought up a while ago. I've name checked you in the stream, because I think it was something you brought up about should we support like horror, like regardless, just as to keep it, you know, to keep it going, basically, you know, to keep pushing it and like make it make money, so we'll get more and more. So I think that was something you mentioned, but I can't remember. But you know, let me know. I've put a link out as well if you want to jump on.
Fucking horrible, by the way.
Well,
Yeah, I know it.
Actually, hang on. Give me 2 seconds. I'm getting another one.
All right, yeah, you might need
He's going to get his balaclava and a shotgun.
it.
You're such a snob, Gareth. Such a snob.
It's not my fault. All Scousers are scum.
We are, but it doesn't need to be like that.
There's a couple of good ones, maybe, that are on parole.
So Lauren says, my thoughts have evolved on that subject, definitely.
Yes.
Oh,
That'll be cool to hear.
We got Joseph jumping on.
What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up, Joseph?
How
You
y'all
okay?
doing?
hey.
Not bad, man. You okay?
How y'all doing? Yeah, I am. I'm watching Halloween 5.
Well, Halloween 5 is one of the classics, arguably, or arguably not.
Yeah, I'll be watching it.
Oh, there we go.
I'll put it on now. I'll get my TV up.
I'll be right back. I'm in the bathroom.
It's bathroom breaks, is it?
Dang, I need to turn it down. Sorry about that.
Am I gonna
Who's being
get a
butchered?
copyright? Am I
Yeah,
gonna
this
get
might
a
be a
copyright?
short live stream.
Yeah.
Someone be in the basement.
Well, as long as, you know,
Where did JT go?
I don't know.
I think I heard him say it rubs the lotion.
JT's doing something illegal.
surely you can't copyright a scream. Surely,
Well,
maybe if the
yeah.
music kicks in,
If
maybe
the music kicks in, you're in trouble.
I don't really understand how copyright works. To be honest with you.
if it's anything from Universal, mate, they'll just copyright you anyway.
Surely.
That's what I've seen
but-
to have found.
It's getting copyrighted is one thing, but it's getting the stream pulled. It's like copyrighted. I get copyrighted all the time. I think on just like the intro music, but
Yeah,
it's just as long as you don't get the stream pulled, that's all that matters really. So,
yeah.
because obviously, you know,
All right.
I get copyrighted. Doesn't
Hey,
matter.
JT, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, Jeff? How you doing, buddy?
Good, how about you?
Good.
Let me
I
guess, Joe, are you watching a Daniel Harris movie by any chance?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, see.
Daniel Harris, Halloween 5, I am.
Cool.
How's it going, buddy? You all right, mate?
Hey, Lauren, what's
Can you
up?
hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're perfectly
Hey,
fine, mate.
how are you, mate?
I am tired, but I'm good.
Yes.
It's been a chaotic year. So you were talking about whether we should support the genre on without like terms.
Was I right in thinking it was you who raised that question a few years, a while ago?
A while
How
ago,
did-
we had a discussion. I don't remember who initially broached the subject, but I definitely had opinions that I got a lot of feedback on.
Yeah.
But I've evolved greatly. I mean, I used to think that the more we support the genre, just out of attrition, we'll get more good products than we would if we didn't. But I'll be honest with you, this year, besides Talk to Me, I haven't liked anything domestically released in the genre, and that's not even a domestic film. It just got a domestic release, a real release. So, like the genre, as I haven't seen Demeter yet, and I haven't seen Beau is Afraid yet. So those are my two. Put them to the side. But the truth is, if we're going to be handed this level of crap on the regular and told to spoon feed it, I'm not giving up on the genre, but I'm just going to support the stuff that I love. So I would rather take a chance on a small Indian or Thai film where consistently I get entertainment value than an American horror film at this point. So what I'm saying is, I guess I've shifted. Like, let's support what's more reliable until the American scene gets better again, because it will. This has happened before. So that would be where I stand now, just to clarify.
That makes sense.
No, I
I
get
agree
it.
with
Completely
a lot of
agree. Yeah.
Yeah, domestic.
But I
movies
haven't
have
seen
not
that.
been,
I haven't
not
seen
been
that
good,
Talk
but-
to Me yet. Was
I
it-
haven't
it-
either.
It's
Yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me is good.
it's
Yeah,
Y'all should
I've
go
heard a lot of
see
good
it.
things. Yeah.
You should go see it.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
an
I gotta-
Australian film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like when something escapes from New Zealand or Australia, it's usually pretty good because it managed to make it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's just as much crap there as well, but
Yeah, there will
But-
be.
by the time it finds its way to us, it's kind of siphoned through.
Yeah. It
Good
just
to see you
amazes
guys, by the
me.
way.
What?
What's that, sorry?
Good to see all you guys, by the
No,
way.
you-
Yeah, it's good to see you, mate. It's been a while.
Something else I brought up, Lord.
I was glad to see you streaming the other night, Lauren. Because every time I see you that you're streaming, which is not as often, I always try to hop in there.
Yeah, life is really busy and chaotic right now.
Yeah.
So,
I get it.
One of the things, Lauren, was also brought up in that little discussion before, which you might have missed, was with YouTube, especially like in the algorithms, it's like people who do support the horror genre. It's for people like us and smaller channels. It's like when you throw in like the Screams and the Friday the 13th and the Halloweens into the mix in terms of doing a live stream or uploads, you're pretty much guaranteed to get more views than what you usually get.
sure.
So it's kind of I know you've said yourself.
Do you want to do you want to grow your channel as big as possible? Just title the video "I hate Trump" or "I hate Biden." You'll have all the views in the world you want.
Yeah.
My thing is, and
Good idea.
so it's
Make a note of that.
what do you want to curate? Do you want to curate a handful of people who really care about what you're talking about and have something to contribute in the comments? Or do you want just as many people as possible? Put up Halloween videos every day of your life or Scream videos every day of your life, and you will absolutely have a bigger community.
Yeah.
And they'll have nothing new to say.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that to be mean to the people who are doing that, because they want those big channels. That's their goal. That's completely cool with me. I'm not berating that at all. Where I sit, I mean, I have
That's always been my goal.
I have just over 900 subs, and I'm cool there. I'm completely cool. Like, I can go online after not streaming for 2 months, and the video does well. We have, plenty of people talking and talking about the subject for real. So I'm happy where I am. But that's not going to be true for everyone. If you really want to follow some YouTube dream, I mean, I feel bad for you in a way, but go for it, man. You do what you need to do. I just don't think there's anything more to say about those big franchises, even the ones I still like, which is in the minority.
If you could just try and live stream at 7 p.m, so at least I can like watch it live instead of being selfish and like put it at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Listen, it's not my fault you guys couldn't get taxation right, 200 and some years ago. If you would have just fixed your shit then, this wouldn't be a problem.
You're not wrong.
Your economy would be better too. But no, I think the problem with YouTube is it's become kind of an arbiter of like what's mainstream in the genre. And that has a good side. So Terrifier, I now see cosplay of at conventions. And I think that's a good thing. Even though I'm not a huge fan of those films necessarily, seeing a new icon walking around, hey, that's awesome.
It's great, isn't it? I love it.
Even the Happy Death Day guy walking around. I'm happy about that, even though I have very mixed feelings on those movies.
I haven't seen them at all. So,
I like them. I think the first one's great.
I think they're fun, but they're fun.
They're very mainstream and very predictable for what they are.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, it's fun. Yep.
But I just think that's positive. It's better than these, 40 and now almost 50-year-old icons walking around. Some of these IPs are older than I am, and that's a problem. So, but YouTube tends to help either progress the genre or hold it back, and it does both at the same time right now. So it really depends. Like, I don't know that. I think Talk to Me did as well as it did as a little Australian film because of the A24 brand. There's people who just trust it now.
Yeah, definitely.
This little film would have gone to streaming and got lost, but now it's becoming one of the big underdog stories of the genre in recent history, specifically because there's an online community built around elevated horror, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But so that's the positive side. And the negative side is Yeah, we're gonna get a Halloween television show in 2 years. You know,
Is that actually happening?
it is.
Is that a thing? Yeah.
It is.
Oh my god! Why?
Oh, that just
Is it actually happened?
It's gonna happen.
Oh
Right,
wow!
It's just to reset. They have
And
to
we
reset.
have Blumhouse taking over Freddy.
That's still way in the rumor
Yeah.
category.
to be fair with that though,
Just the thought of
JT.
it is terrifying.
Well, do you know what, JT? To be fair, I think Elm Street is probably due like something now. Like it's been a little while. It's been like,
I don't know.
maybe 12, 13 years.
After that remake, I don't know if it's worth
Oh,
even
forget
going back
the-
to.
It's been a
Forget
while.
the remake. Forget the remake. Like just. But
I don't think it's worth going back to.
Well, I
What
think
more can you
I'll
do
tell you
with
what.
Freddy at this point?
I kind of.
There was nothing new to do with Freddy
disagree
as
with
in
you.
1986.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
now, what is?
That's
there
why they didn't
more
do
to
anything new with him after 86.
I kind of disagree a little bit because I think as a horror IP, I think Elm Street. There's a lot of potential you can actually do, like a new movie and bring it now. I think there's potential with it. I think, there's an actor out there that can actually bring something to Freddy Krueger that we probably haven't seen before. That would do a really good job. Like I'm not in the camp of like Robert Englund was the greatest Freddy and all that. He was good. Don't get me wrong, but with reviewing the series recently,
So
from
Elm Street.
4, 5, 6 up, I don't think Robert Englund was that great. I've got to be
No,
honest with
well,
you. That's just my
Those
opinion.
movies aren't that great, so of course
No.
their lead performance isn't going to be that great.
Exactly.
I'll note that and it breaks every horror fan's heart to hear it, but Robert Englund used to say that he thought that scaring the audience was not what those Elm Street sequels should be trying to do. He embraced the idea of it being comedy,
He did.
and
Yeah.
those performances showcase that. So he did
Yeah.
exactly what he thought was working, and clearly worked. I mean, he was the biggest social phenomenon horror had seen since the 1930s.
Yeah.
But
Well, the thing is, you can't argue it in a financial way because from 4 up, I mean, they were making money, and he was as popular as like
Absolutely.
anything at that time.
Oh,
absolutely.
From that point of view, you can't really argue it. But I think from like an artistic point, when it comes to the movies, it really suffered massively. And that's why when it came to the remake, my one and only positive with the remake was Jackie Hill Haley or Healy or sorry, whatever his last name is. I thought he actually, for the material that he was given, I thought he actually did really well.
He's a great actor.
And I think he.
I'll go a step further in you. The remake gets a lot wrong, wrong.
Yeah, it does.
But you know what I did like? The tone of the thing.
It's dark. Yeah.
It's dark and it's not
Yeah.
playing around, and it hurts a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
And we lost our host.
He'll be back.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that
Someone
happens.
stole the copper from his wife.
It's all right. Gareth's took over now.
We're in better hands now.
Listen to me.
But I
There's
do
one
like that.
break
I do like that comment below. I think Walter Goggins is a good shout. If you're
Is he
gonna
too
recast
old though
Freddy.
now? They need someone that's got legs.
Well, yeah, they'd have
I
to
just
cast
still
someone
don't
younger.
know where else
England
they can
did
go with Freddy's
20 years?
character. At this
So, but I wanted to go back to something you said a second ago, which is that you said there's a lot of potential for Nightmare on Elm Street as compared to the other IPs.
And yeah.
Here's the thing: you are right, except for one little thing, which is that the fans don't want anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
If you change what Elm Street is even slightly, let alone fundamentally, which is what would need to happen to make a really great classic horror film again, because mind you, and I'm not a Wes Craven fan, the original Nightmare on Elm Street is a stone cold horror classic.
Yes.
And it deserves all of its reputation. Now, I don't like the series, and I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't like films like People Under the Stairs at all. So,
right, okay.
Deadly Friend. I mean, come on. Wes Craven has some real shit in his catalog.
Oh,
If we're being fair.
I've never been a big Wes Craven fan.
I've never seen Deadly Friend, but I do like People Under the Stairs.
Don't let me get my Shocker video down.
Oh, Shock is bad. Shock is bad.
That's a bad movie.
It's awful.
Just watch Horror Show or House 3 instead, and you'll get a better version of
Oh.
the basic concept. You'll be fine.
I
First
hate
hour is
House 3 as well. Yeah.
That cast, though.
True.
Ugh.
Yeah. Sure.
But I just think that it's
yeah.
calcified. It's already what it is to people. They're not going to change. So I don't think you can save this series unless lightning in a bottle again. And how rare is that? hope for.
It is rare. I think I'm more talking from my heart than my head when it comes to when they're going to reboot the series. Like I generally hope and I pray that there's a filmmaker out there that is a massive fan of the series and wants to take it back to its roots. And it has to be, and the remake is dark, and it is, and that's what one of the things that I do like about it.
What's a Batman?
I feel like it needs to be dark again and take it back to its roots and make Freddy, try and make him actually terrifying again. I feel like it can be done, but that's coming from a place because I love the series.
Sure,
I'm coming from like my heart to my head with that one.
Yeah.
But you make a Nightmare on Elm Street film without a single one-liner, the fans are going to revolt. And it's almost built in that you need it to be dead serious, at least for a film.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like. I'd like to think not, but you are probably right.
What's the most famous line from the first Friday from the first Nightmare film? It's for me. It's God. This is God. That's not. It's not a one-liner. No, it's just a statement. You know, it's
disturbing.
Yeah. If you watch the original,
he's talking to he's suggesting the glove has the power of God. It's going to kill you in your dream. I mean, it's a dark thing. Somehow, by the second film, you have you've got the body and I've got the brain, which is jokey-er, but because it's followed by a pretty disturbing visual, you're kind of okay.
And we also have "You Are All My Children" now, which is my favorite line in the second.
It's that I love that scene.
Right, but we're inching closer to not being serious.
Oh yeah.
By the time the third film, which I know everyone loves, so you can all love it for me because I don't like it, you get "Welcome to Prime Time, Bitch," which is just a joke.
Yep.
And the visual that follows it is a big dumb special effect. So it unfortunately after that point, the series could never get serious again.
No.
And the remake tried. And we see where people are. Now, the remake gets a lot else wrong, so that's not the reason I don't like that movie. But that's not the reason it fails. But the fans were never going to let it succeed anyway. If we have to be very serious about that.
Lord, do you think the that like MTV had like a negative impact on the franchise? Do you think that was it through MTV that like Freddy became like a was it something to do with
it was bigger than just MTV. Nightly news broadcasts were covering the Nightmare on Elm Street phenomenon. It was huge. It wasn't just kids either. I mean, I think I'm probably the oldest of the group here. I'm going to pretend that that's possibly untrue. But
you and Gareth, both 50.
Oh, we're both 50. We're tied. When was your birthday? When was your birthday, sir?
July 24th.
Yeah, you are older. By a week.
Hey.
By a week. You're more of a Nixon. You're just slightly more of a Nixon kid than I am.
Old tasties.
But so we probably are the only ones that saw like any of these in theaters during the original run. Oh, you didn't.
And they were all 18s here, so you had to be 18.
Oh, well, it was an R here, but you could get in.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that those were big mixed. Those were event movies. That big mixed. It would be no different than if you saw a Marvel film today. That's who showed up for a Nightmare on Elm Street. It was everyone.
Yeah.
I remember it.
It was so big. Television commercials for toys. It was just everything. I remember even at the end of it, early 90s, after they were no longer even making movies, you'd see like dance flyers for local clubs and they'd have fucking Freddy on them. He was that big.
I actually remember when I was like 9 or 10 years old, right, going to the toy shop and actually buying, I've said this on the street before, I'm sure.
The talking Freddy?
But you could have that, yeah. You could get like two balls, so one was Jason and one was Freddy, and you filled them with water and then you just like squirted them at each other. I remember having that at like 10 years old.
Yeah.
Two killers from horror movies,
that didn't happen, and that did not happen for other franchises. Like Halloween, which you could say is the granddaddy of the modern slasher icon. I don't say it's the beginning of the slasher, but of the iconic slasher, it is. He never had like that.
No.
I don't think Michael had the charisma of, even though Jason never spoke, there was a charisma to Jason. I think that maybe Michael didn't have. Obviously, Freddy had the charisma.
For me, it was that Jason kills a lot more brutally and creatively, and that's what I've always loved about it.
Freddy had a TV show.
Yeah, and JT, people tell me the news about Daniel Harris, man.
Yeah, no problem, buddy.
You know,
let me know when
Yeah, I'll let you know.
All right, thank you.
To me, the moment that Jason becomes a character rather than just kind of a force,
Yeah.
is in the third film when he drops the spear gun. That moment of just pure dismissiveness, like, I'm done here. Turns, walks back to the cabin, looks up in a window, and you're like, he's just keep going. He's a shark. He's. That's the moment that character finally is a character. Like, it's. I think the third film has aged kind of poorly in some ways, but I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
They understood how to make a horror icon in that movie out of like thin cloth. Amazing.
Yeah. The more I've watched part 3, it was one of my like kind of least favorite of the series. I still liked it.
It was always
But the more I watch part 3, the more I appreciate it, like what they actually did with it, and it's the first movie that Jason gets his hockey mask, which is one of the most iconic scenes in horror. And I'm pretty sure, like when he's just walking down that dock, when he's first got the mask on, you're thinking that's the bear of a horror icon right there.
And you know what? You know what we don't get? We don't get the scene of him taking it off Shelley. And that's important because the moment is true. You look and you see, and it's not Shelley. Like visually, you get it. But you can also understand where the characters are at. It's actually good storytelling. Like when the remake decided to do, the Friday the 13th remake decided to do a reveal of how he got the mask, of course it was underwhelming because that scene was never going to work to our expectations. The third film doesn't do it, and it's brilliant.
Can you imagine it? Can you imagine it like a horror franchise though, where the most iconic look for the killer comes about in the third movie? It's just it's unheard of. It's unheard of. Really,
it's like Darth Vader getting in the mask in Return of the
Jedi.
Yeah,
it's just so like
as much. The thing is, as much as I like Jason with like the pillow head and the sack head as well, like I do like that look of Jason as well. I mean, particularly in the start of the remake. I think he looks more badass and terrifying with that sack on his head than what he does with the hockey mask, in my opinion. But you're right in what you're saying. Like, it's so rare that you'll get to a third movie of a franchise, and then that gives birth to the horror icon that we all know and love. Because a lot of people would just think, oh, that obviously came in the first one or whatever, which is Jason wasn't even in the first movie.
I just want to know, like, what's everybody's thoughts about like this new TV show that's meant to be dropping? Is it next year? It's a Peacock, and they've got the rights to so much, but they haven't got the rights to this much, and like I don't know. It sounds like
they have the rights to everything.
Oh, have they?
Has
that been resolved now, Lorne?
No, not at all. So the film
we have this conversation about once a year. We've had this conversation every year.
The film rights and the television rights are completely different animals. They exist in a completely different legal space. So licensing the television rights is a completely different issue, and they have everything. They can do whatever they want. And my understanding is the television show will draw from absolutely everything at different points. So
I'm not too sure how. So is the team? I don't know an awful lot about the series that's coming out. So is this supposed to be set obviously before the Friday the 13th movies, like way before? Are we going back into like kind of Pamela Voorhees as a young woman?
So
or
the thing I think that most fans are not gonna agree with about this is this is a brand new timeline. It's telling the Friday the 13th story from point zero.
I would actually prefer that to be true.
Yeah, it's a brand new continuity. It'll draw from all the films, but it's not. It doesn't fit into these because they're even including like the remake in what they're pulling from. So yeah, I expect a whole new experience. Expect it to be told not chronologically. Yeah. I know that's true of it, and expect some. No, I shouldn't say a lot, but at least some familiar faces to show up. That might surprise you in roles that might surprise you.
Okay.
I'm hearing good things, but I'm skeptical because all these long-running things usually shoot themselves in the feet.
Yeah. Yep. I know. I must admit, I've heard good things about it as well.
Daniel Harris thing I got.
Oh, the Halloween 4 thing?
Yeah, Halloween 4 clown mask that I got.
That's cool.
My sister gave it to me on my last birthday.
I hope it's not your last birthday. That would be awful.
But I will. My birthday is next month, and I will be 25. 25.
Only young,
Nice
only a
one,
baby.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Not as old as all of us.
That's for sure.
I
Yeah.
hadn't even crawled out of the lake bed by then.
Yeah, man.
So when is the Crystal Lake? It's called Crystal Lake, isn't it? Is that what the TV series is called?
It is, but it's being promoted very heavily as the Friday the 13th series. I think they're going to get cold feet and go with Friday the 13th as a title.
Okay.
It's just commercially, it makes no sense.
Why would they not go with that title? It's like,
Well, they're not going to be. I mean, Jason's not going to be the killer, is he? He's not. Well, I don't.
Oh,
I don't
you're
know.
100%. You are getting Jason with the hockey mask killing people in this series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that's what I would think.
100%.
I mean, that's all you have to say to get me interested in it. That's all you have to say to me. That's it. I'm in. I don't care about Pamela Voorhees. I don't care about this. I don't care about if
Oh,
Jason's going to be there killing someone in a sleeping bag, wrapping around the
you're
tree.
getting-
I mean,
I think this is
I
like
would like to see
potpourri. You're getting all of it.
right? Okay.
but here's a question: with this TV show, are they gonna look at maybe rather than trying to like force feed everything into one season? Are they gonna like maybe look to try and like, because if this is a success, you're gonna want this to be like a 3, 4, 5 season show. So are they at risk of like maybe trying to put too much into one season? I don't really want to see a Friday the 13th TV show where it's a bit like the remake where they just managed to force feed, all those movies into like 10 minutes. It's just, I'd like to see a slow, maybe not. I don't mean a slow burn, but something where they tease stuff over
It's
the
like
week.
more organic pacing of
Yeah, rather than just like, here's Jason, here's Miss, and just Mask, Sackhead, all in one season.
No.
Yeah, you want it to
No,
feel
no.
like the story
Nah.
organically grows at a good pace.
Yeah,
Nah, fuck that.
Rushed
Cram
into it, too.
it all in, mate. I want Sackhead Jason and Hockey Jason in the first 15 minutes of the first episode.
Just in case it's cancelled.
You
Just in
really,
case it gets
you
cancelled,
really
yeah,
made me
cram it
very
all in.
happy. You really made me very happy.
Cheers,
There's a heavy ass framing element that's going to allow you to get all this stuff. But I'll tell you what the problem is, Mike. It's there's something else happening in the franchise on the film side.
Mm.
And so there's a very good chance by the time the second season comes out, they're going to have something to directly compete with that's going to contradict it.
Yeah.
You thought things were messy when the lawsuit was on, kids. Just you wait. This shit's going to make no sense to average fans.
My phone, but I got charged my phone because it's at 4%. So I'm gonna go.
Do what you need to do, man.
Take care.
Love to see you, Joseph.
Nice
Take
to
I
see
care,
you,
gotta
Joseph.
go because it got
Right, man.
charged.
But
Nice
take care,
meeting.
man.
Yeah.
No worries.
I gotta
Take
go
care of
too.
yourself.
Past my bedtime.
Okay, Gareth.
Fuck
Good night, Gareth,
Be
man.
good, man.
See you later, man.
I'll be watching though.
Love you. Miss you already.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
I agree,
so, yeah,
Zodiac. I want to see Crystal.
Yeah, are we going to get Creighton Duke in Friday the 13th?
Listen. I know what I know, but I don't know everything. I've not seen a cast
No.
breakdown for every character
The
or
only
anything.
one thing I've heard about the
I
series,
would like to see Crystal.
which I have heard, is potentially it is good. I have heard that. Other than that, I know fuck all about it. So
It needs
We'll
to be
see.
good for a lot of reasons, though.
Yeah, it does.
This will make or break the franchise going forward.
Yeah.
yeah, but I feel like it's time for something Friday the 13th.
I don't see
comedy as
Brian
well.
Fuller putting out absolute trash either. I don't see A24 being comfortable putting out absolute trash.
No.
So
I'm amazed A24 is involved. It seems like a strange kind of.
So A24's horror division is going to have a branding change in the new year.
Mm.
So it's going to have very specific things, and they are literally running straight at Blumhouse. Like, I mean, not as far as quality or what they're going for, but as a commercial entity,
Yeah.
they want all the stuff that Blumhouse has.
Yeah, but that makes sense because also when you got to think about it, Friday the 13th, what an IP to have. It doesn't matter what studio you are. What like that? There's a built-in audience right there already.
Oh yeah,
straight away.
A huge audience.
So a huge audience, yeah. So all you have to do is hopefully make a semi-decent Friday the 13th horror movie, which will please fans. And you kind of you're halfway there, aren't you? You know, it's.
I think you're going to be seeing something from it very shortly.
Right.
A teaser for the series very shortly.
I'm going to be very intrigued about what the show was about, what it shows. Because originally, when the news of it first came out, we were hearing all sorts of different stories. But I think, Mike, we even spoke about it on the live stream probably 6 months ago.
Yeah.
When we thought it was supposed to be going back to like the 50s, and it was Pamela Voorhees when she was young and stuff. And when we were hearing stuff like that, I had no interest because I'm like, well, I don't really care. Like it's what can you do?
When I first heard that, I was like, how are we getting like a Friday the 13th that's not a slasher? Like, there's gonna be no killing going on. Like, I don't.
And I just thought
this makes more sense.
Yeah, I didn't really care about it, but the fact, like Lorne, like you've just said, now it's not even, it's just going to do its own thing. I quite like that it's not tied to anything else. I like that it can actually go off and breathe and let it go its own way and see what happens. I like that it's not actually tied to the movies.
I know a hell of a lot of fans won't, though.
Yeah, that's probably the long-running things, man.
Do you know what, mate? Probably I am in the minority on that, but I do like the fact that potentially it's not tied to them.
I actually like the sound of it, so.
Yeah, because
that so many fans will not.
But let's be honest with you, mate. You know what I mean? As much as I love the Friday the 13th series, and it's my favorite horror franchise.
Yeah.
Like I love it. Continuity and timelines and everything is not. Exactly. It's not the greatest thing with that series anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's why it wouldn't be that big of a deal to me either.
Because like Friday the 13th Part 8
you don't
is
watch
literally set in 2000.
We don't watch Fridays for their storyline.
No,
they're amazing scripts.
No, exactly. So I like the fact that the series can take a whole new, I wouldn't say different direction, but it's not set to anything that's like come obviously before it.
Yeah, I mean,
I quite like.
See the films as like, I don't know, road markers and nothing more. Like, you're going to get a hockey mask. You're going to get the kills. You're going to probably get a character very much like Tommy Jarvis at some point.
Yeah,
I hope so.
But will you get actually Tommy Jarvis as he exists now? Probably not. Yeah. And I think it's the right way to go. Listen, this series could still be absolute garbage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying things lining up a lot better than I expected to feel about it.
Yeah.
I think we've all got.
I feel the same as you.
I think if you were like just like sort of like put us all in a room separately, and ask us what. Sorry, well, in terms of like what we wanted from like a good Friday the 13th TV show. If you asked us all separately in a questionnaire, we'd probably all come back with similar answers. And we're like big fans of the franchise. And if you asked 1,000, 2,000 Friday the 13th movies what they wanted from a TV show, you'd get similar answers. And then the TV studio would probably then go do something completely different.
We'll go the opposite.
It just seems to be the way that movie studios and TV studios work now. It's just like, well, this is what the fans want, so we're just going to go in the complete opposite direction. And it's
isn't it kind of like a balancing act though? Because like, I don't want films to be so predictable that they're just fan service all the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
that annoys me actually.
So I don't mind them giving us something that we didn't expect to like, but it's all a matter of first of all, they hire writers and then they don't use their screenplays. They send it to 7 more writers, some of which are producers who just call themselves writers. And by the time it comes back, it's this diluted thing that's lost all of its meaning, all of its thematics, and then they film it. And on set, like budgetary issues and the limitations of cast and crew come into play, and it gets watered down even more, or just made weird as it goes. They need to get back to like the days when there was one screenwriter credit, when directors had presented their film, because there's at a point in production you have to, as a producer, you bring your director, your art director, your writer into a room with the people paying for it. Just lay it all out and say, hey, here's the storyboards for the major action sequences. This is the screenplay. Here's the template. This is what we're making. And then it used to be the producers would be given like, okay, go make that movie and bring it back to us. But now the studios are involved at every step and they keep changing their minds. If you want a great Friday the 13th, you got to have what Sean Cunningham had, which is just, hey, I have this basic idea of what I want to do.
A single vision.
I'm going to find enough money from mob-associated distributors to go to Hardwick, New Jersey, rent as the wrong summer camp because I got lost one day. This is literally what happened.
Yeah.
And film awesome, film over the course of 4 weeks. Yeah. On a complete shoestring. But it's going to work because there was exactly 2 people involved in its creation. Yeah. You know, and today they hate each other, get it, but 2 people, you have a better chance of a great piece of art than, I don't know, 60, which is literally what you're talking about in some of the case of these big studio films.
Yeah.
So that's
it's just like that saying, isn't it, mate? It's like just too many cooks in the kitchen can ruin a fucking good meal. It's just
exactly.
You know, sometimes you just need a singular vision, and like you say, maybe just 2 people, and then go.
It's also that, like, going back to like that late 70s. You know, it's something as pure as just an idea of like a guy at a summer camp just offering people. Yeah. It's something that it's so. It seems it was probably like revolutionary back 50, 60 years ago, but now it's just so cliched. But what a glorious time to be alive at that point, when that was like, you know, something that was considered new and unique. And now we're just so jaded, and it's difficult to like surprise people with something new because we feel like we've seen it all. I honestly don't know how you would really come up with something now which is truly like revolutionary in terms of like horror, where it's something that's Lorne's got a great book, by the way, which is
there we go.
There it is. I was waiting for
by Zero available all on.
But dead serious
link will be below, Mike. Yeah,
I'll add it later.
You're all too kind. You know, but it's funny because like the early slasher films were all built on the premise of urban legends that have been passed around since the 1950s.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to the Man with the Hook, right? It all comes back to the Man with the Hook or the Vanishing Hitchhiker, those stories, which were in the zeitgeist, and they represented like the fears placed on adolescents, not from adolescents, but placed on adolescents. Because there was always a camp counselor telling the teenage counselor
around the campfire
the story, and that's what these are all based on. I mean, it's how many of those urban legends start with a babysitter? A ton of them do, because you have like the emergence of maternal like responsibilities and the fears of being a female in a society that's actually geared towards men. I don't mean that in a patriarchy, like high-minded third wave feminist way. I just mean it in a very real sense. For especially that time period, the world was kind of built for men.
Yeah.
So you had these stories that really resonated for decades, and then finally you had like Bob Clark and John Carpenter and Sean Cunningham like latch on to them, not for the right reasons, not for any high-minded art reasons, just because they're great templates for scary movies.
Yeah.
And those movies resonate on this frequency that hits us still. So what are those stories today that haven't been told? What are those urban legends? Well, you know, how many have you heard a story about a guy who goes on vacation and ends up in a bathtub without a kidney?
Yeah.
I
think that happened to me in Spain once.
Yeah, well, they actually added a kidney to you, though. But is that where we got Hostel from? Is that kind of where we're getting the Saw thing from? I think it is. Yeah, so we got to find that next generation. It all starts
from somewhere.
Yeah, we got to find that next generation of urban legends. I'm not talking like Slender Man shit, because the supernatural is a different issue. But we have to find those next. And you probably have to talk to Gen Zers. I'm sorry that you have to do that, but you have to talk to Gen Zers and find out like what are their urban legends.
Slender Man.
Nah, but see that's a little too wacky.
There's an app that if you go in it, it'll tell you when you die. Ooh,
I like that movie. I like it.
Did you really?
I did.
I haven't seen it.
Sam and I yell at each other about that movie on a fairly regular basis.
What was it called? Was it Countdown?
Countdown.
Was it called? Countdown. Yeah.
I like Countdown. It did exactly what it said it would on the tin, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's crazy and stupid with the whole Slender Man thing is that we know it's a creepypasta. We know it was made up to begin with. And yet
The thing is,
still
I remember
people
playing.
who believe that
I
it's
remember
real.
playing the Slenderman game, and it
Yeah, with the
literally
letters
shit me
and
up every time.
I mean,
Every
that's
It's
the
like
case.
not even a debate. Like some people think that this is a real legend. Like
So that was a
Gen
creepy
Z
pasta
or
that became that became a video game that became a
Went to
movie.
mainstream, Yeah.
And the reason
Yeah.
they made the movie of it is because
several movies.
But because
Yeah.
the reason they made
All
it
not well.
is because
Both of them.
they knew that they were onto a winner because you had like PewDiePie and all like the big
It's
YouTubers
a built-in audience, yeah.
back in 2012, 2013 when that Slenderman thing kicked
Oh,
off.
yeah. They were
There was
playing,
people there was people uploading those Slenderman videos to YouTube, which was getting massive views. And
Yeah.
so there you go. The film companies were going, oh, you know what, Slenderman, that's getting like 10 million views on a video.
The thing-
Well, let's just make a movie of that.
The thing
You
is,
know,
man,
it's like
with-
they went into it with like, well,
yeah.
what's the storyline? Well, there isn't one. It's
The thing
it's
is, with,
Slenderman, and we don't
yeah.
know anything about it. We're just gonna.
the thing is with that Slenderman movie, mate, you knew they had no fucking clue like what they were doing. Like, they didn't have a Scooby. There's short films on YouTube that did a far better job.
Yeah,
I
of
don't
Slenderman
know
than what
which
they did with-
movie you're referring to because there's like literally like a dozen.
well, the main
Exactly.
one that's got like
The main one that Sony did.
Okay.
It's awful.
the one with
It's
the
terrible.
the one with the four girls and the one goes missing.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
the
that's
one,
terrible.
mate, yeah. It's awful.
I mean,
But
you know
most
what-
of them are.
Do you know what film?
Yeah.
Do you know what film really I thought was really really disappointing? And I think Lauren might agree with me on this one. Hopefully,
Look,
because
Fingers
I think the Lights Out movie I thought was terrible. I thought the 1 minute, 2 minute short was genius.
Mm.
I thought that Lights Out short on YouTube is so
Yeah.
creepy, and
It's
the
good.
movie was. I just thought the movie was terrible.
I remember
Oh,
nothing
hi.
about it.
But
I
do you
remember
know?
nothing about.
you know-
Yeah, I remember
you-
not liking it, but I remember nothing about
No,
it.
but do you remember
I
the
found it,
short though? Do you remember the?
Yeah,
2
oh,
minute-
yeah.
Yeah.
How effective was that though?
Yeah,
That was really effective. I don't actually think that the jump scare at the end is not the most terrifying part of that 2 minute, 3 minute video. It's just literally here in the corridor, turning the lights on, turning the lights off,
Yeah.
yeah.
and there's something there. She turns the lights on, it's gone. She turns the lights off, it's there. She turns the lights on, it's gone. And then when she turns the lights off again and it's gone, that for me was the scariest part.
I think
And
you'll
the
agree
whole
with me.
scene in the bed, that I thought that was
If
cheesy.
I recall correctly, that was done practically also.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It was just an editing.
The
I
final
think you'll-
jump, I think the final jump scare was a little bit cheesy. I just the corridor scene
Yeah.
for me is just so well done.
Well, there's also use of sound design in that short that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Sound design is the unsung hero of all great horror films.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Put,
I think you'll agree with.
listen,
I
listen
think
to-
you'll agree with me, JT, as well. The moment you've done that a couple of times with the light, so she's there,
Mhm.
turn the light back on, she disappears. You turn it off, she's there. You do that a couple of times. You'll agree with me on this. You leave the light off, you see her there, you run and you drop kick her down the stairs. You don't keep just standing by the light fucking doing that, do you?
You know
You
what?
go,
Turn it on and off.
That is, you know what? My major bugbear with any like sort of like
Just
movie,
don't do it,
especially found footage movies, is where they just carry on filming when they're
Exactly.
like this like
Yeah.
death is imminent. Just like why are you still like holding your camera or your phone
Trying to get the
filming
perfect shot.
when
Yes.
you are about to
There's
die?
very few
That
found
is
footage movies that pull up
bullshit.
good reasons for
It's
the
just so
film,
stupid.
the filming
But you,
continuing.
yeah, haven't
Very
said.
few.
You know what? Haven't said that though. Haven't said that. I'm gonna do a complete 180 now.
Oh, here it is.
How many times, like, if you're on Twitter or
Yeah.
certain other sites, like, we all know how fucked up the world is now. Like, I've seen people
Just now,
literally getting killed on, and people are filming it and they're not helping.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
It's literally like it's a common thing now. So I completely changed my mind now. The vanity of people now to get likes and whatever, people actually probably would, even if they're facing near death, probably would live stream and go, I'm about to die, but hey, at least I've got like 5,000 likes on this Instagram feed,
Mate, it's like these motherfuckers when they're on a plane and it's fucking going down and they're filming it. You're like, what are you on about? Why are you filming it for? Like, if anything's
they want to
going
send
wrong,
the video. They want their family.
Yes,
to
or
have
the
it.
engine on fire. I ain't filming that shit. I'm crying. I'm like, get me off this plane now. I'm not like doing a documentary about it.
I don't know. Everyone likes filming shit nowadays instead of doing.
It feels that way, doesn't it? But going back to Lights Out, we were talking about going back to that Lights Out thing. I really do like the short video. I didn't mind the movie. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, I don't mind it either.
I mean, the film was always it was only like about an hour.
80 minutes. It was about 80 minutes. I think it was short.
80-minute movie.
But if I'm right, hopefully I'm not making this up, but I'm pretty sure the guy that directed the short actually directed the movie.
He did.
He did, yeah.
And I actually thought with the material that he had, which what he did for a 3-minute video, I actually thought he did quite well to stretch it out for as long as he did for the movie. And I don't think I think there's worse films than Lights Out. I'll be completely honest with you.
You know what annoyed me about Lights Out? Probably more than all the stuff that you guys, and this is just a pet peeve.
Yeah, go on.
They explain the mythology 3 fucking times in 3 different ways, and it doesn't help you be scared of it.
Yeah.
Like they're told it, they read it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
They search for it, and it's like in different scenes. It's like you could do this once, and you're good.
Yeah. Usually you just need
Or
one
maybe,
little
well, how about not at
exposition
all?
montage.
Yeah. How about don't
Not at
even
all.
explain anything?
Exactly.
Just
That'd be
let
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I am on board with you on that when it comes to horror movies because, like, you probably don't agree with me, but I actually quite like the original Blair Witch movie. I still do to this day. Like, it does have its faults, I get it, but I do like it because you don't know. It's a mystery. They do that little bit at the beginning where they're interviewing the people in the town and stuff, so you get like an idea of what the Blair Witch is or what's happening. But it doesn't explain anything else. You're left to go on the ride with these people that go into the woods to try and explore it. I was enjoying the sequel, the one that came out in 2016, the Blair Witch one. I was liking that until
Not the good
one. Take that, Dave.
No, wait. Let me finish.
Okay, I'll let you finish. Go on.
Let me finish, please. I was enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I didn't buy the fact that they went into the woods anyway. I thought that was quite thin. Whatever. All right. They're there. The moment they showed you the Blair Witch, it lost me. I went, no. I did not need to see her. Didn't have to show her. It just lost everything.
And it went.
Was that the witch? Because it's everything I always took from it.
It was.
I'm not a fan of the original movie or that one really, but they kind of imply it very heavily that the woods themselves are pretty much the witch.
Yeah.
That it's the woods themselves.
They also go full.
It's not like a physical manifestation.
Because in Blair Witch 2016, like Night and Day just ends. So it's like at least in Blair, at least in 99, Night and Day, it follows like at least some sort of logical progression. I mean, in the 2016 movie, it's like, well, they're like, it should be daytime now, and it's not. I'm like, oh come on.
No,
really?
but the whole
universe has like changed.
Yeah. The whole point with that movie as well as though just at the beginning, I can't remember what year they were supposed to have set it at. I can't remember. But the fact it was his sister, Heather, wasn't it? That
he was looking for.
Yeah.
It was missing
That's
for
94.
20 fucking years.
Exactly.
20 something years.
So this film's set in like 2016 when it came out, isn't it? I'm right in saying that. She's been gone that long, mate.
Yeah, I know.
You ain't finding her in any woods, are you?
There, come on.
No. Exactly.
That's why the whole script for that movie is ridiculous.
That was the point. But once they got there, I didn't mind it. I thought, you know what, whatever. I'm here to watch a Blair Witch movie. I'm along for the ride. if you fucking scare me a few times, I'm gonna have a good time. But that didn't even happen in the movie at all. And then I'm just like the moment, like they say when they shown you like the Blair Witch thing in the woods, I just thought, oh no, you've
The
just
fact that Adam
you took the
Wingard,
mystery completely away from it, you know.
The good thing about that movie at the beginning is like there's a scene where like the film and everything, and they're interviewing the locals, and I think there's a woman with like a young kid on her arm, and she's talking about the Blair Witch
In the original,
and the kid and the little kid says something
Yeah.
about they're scared of the Blair Witch, and that couldn't have been like acted because the kid is like about 4 or something. He goes, it's not real, it's not real, and then she goes, it is real, and it's like. That just seems like that is real. Like there's no way that kid could have like been prompted to say that. You know, it's almost like that feels like it was like a spontaneous reaction, and that kind of it just gives that movie like that sort of authenticity, which we will know it's not real.
Interviews are great, and
those interviews at the beginning are so.
It sets it up well.
Yeah.
So in the original version of the film that I saw, that I still have on VHS, very little of that is there. Very little.
Yeah.
It's they literally go when they. It starts with Heather waking up and going to pick up the boys, and then they do the speech on the mountaintop, right, where it's over at the cemetery. It's a cemetery.
Yeah.
And then they go into town, and you spend maybe a minute and a half with the locals. That's it.
Really?
And you don't get. That there's a very obviously shot later sequence with a woman in some really bad fright makeup talking about the witch. That's not there, and the movie is improved, I think, with even less explanation. Because that first viewing I had on VHS before the film had any reputation was really powerful, and it was even more immersive. I love Blair Witch, but I will tell you that there is a perfect version of that exists. Yeah,
I love the original Blair Witch. I still do. It's one of the first movies I went to the cinema to watch. I was 18.
I got snuck in there by my friend's brother.
He got dragged.
My friends.
Yeah,
it was one of like the earliest like big horror movies that I remember. I was in seeing.
Oh mate, I was
like
18.
9 years old, 10 years old.
Yeah. I was 18 at the time, and I remember it was packed. Like, it absolutely packed. I remember that.
It was a phenomenon.
I remember the hype.
It's honest to God, mate. It's one of the few movies that generally the ending terrified me, scared me. It generally scared me, and I went home that night and stuck on a Family Guy DVD for a bit of comedy. So I left the light on in my bedroom, and I had Family Guy on to like try and get like the Blair Witch out my head. It freaked me out. Like, generally freaked me out. And like, I don't think the film is like kind of aged well, but I still love it. I have a very soft spot for the movie.
I love everything about it. I just can't. I don't like watching it.
Yeah, we can all come down though to the. We can all come down to the.
No sense if I don't explain it. But like,
I would argue.
I think the marketing was awesome for that movie. Though when we talk about marketing for a movie,
absolutely.
How perfect was that for its time?
I think the marketing is brilliant. I think the lore is brilliant.
Yeah.
With the and
this was real.
And the Coffin Rock. Yeah, all of that. The interviews are phenomenal in the movie.
Yeah.
We're all of a sudden.
I just don't like watching the original movie. It's just boring to me.
We're all of a sudden.
Shadows is phenomenal to me. So I don't know.
So we're all of a certain age where we remember the early days of the internet, and where the internet was like the Wild West. You know, this is long before Google.
Oh yeah.
And things could take off on the internet without really you couldn't really verify what was getting put on the internet. So the way they marketed this film, this was still dial-up, and it was slow, and
it was
fantastic. The way they marketed that film in the late 90s.
Yeah,
there wasn't, even though the internet existed, nobody knew how to use the internet. I didn't have. I mean, nobody really had the clue what was going on. Really, no.
I remember my friend's brother showing me the website with the photos, the police photos and stuff.
The website was amazing.
That I remember.
They totally used that that early internet. Like it was so. Much like it was almost like, you know, if the VHS franchise now could do a Blair Witch short, they totally would, because it totally fits in with their sort of aesthetic, and the
It was
idea that
perfect.
it was perfect, and
It was perfect. Yeah.
and setting it as well in '94. They disappeared in '94. This is before mobile phones, smartphones, cell phones, whatever you want to call them. So that doesn't date the movie. It's just three people in the woods with a video camera. Now, okay, you could say, well, that dates it to the '90s, but video cameras were like kind of a thing for like a good chunk of time. Whereas, like when you put a cell phone or mobile, I say mobile cell phone. When you put a cell phone, mobile phone in a movie in the 2000s or the late '90s, you can always pinpoint the year that movie came out by the fucking phone, and that pisses me off. So,
but the great thing is with Blair Witch, mate, like it, in a weird sort of way, it's kind of timeless because, like you say, they filmed that in like, well, not filmed, sorry, but it's set in '94. So it doesn't matter when the tapes are discovered. They could have released that this year. The film set, it don't matter.
Yeah.
So
That's why you shouldn't set things right at the current moment.
Yeah.
It really is. It'll always age better if you go 5 years in either direction.
Go in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember though that the directors Sanchez and Merrick of Blair Witch had a brief, short-lived television series called Freaky Links?
No,
I remember that name, but I don't think I saw it.
You can find all the episodes on YouTube. What? No,
I don't think
you can find it all on YouTube though. You can find it all if you have to search a little bit, but you can find it all. Underrated little series, fun little. I mean, use the found footage aesthetics for almost every episode in different ways, but you'll be surprised. It's cool.
I gotta check it.
I'll check that. It's got to be somewhere. I'm sure I'll find it.
I mean, there are bootlegs out there of it too. So
yeah. I'll definitely check that out. Have them guys gone on to do anything? By the way, I know that sounds like I'm not too sure. Like after Blair Witch, have they actually gone on to do?
I know Sanchez did another found footage exists.
Yeah, the Bigfoot movie.
Yeah, the Bigfoot one, which I actually enjoy that one.
Is that good? Is it?
It's actually like shit actually happens like compared to other Bigfoot like found footage ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like,
some of these
like
Bigfoot movies,
I do enjoy it a little bit.
Those Bigfoot
Coast
movies
Tapes or Willow Creek, like compared to those. Like,
what's the Bigfoot movie where it's? I don't like the film particularly, but there's a scene where it's just two people in a tent and like,
Willow Creek.
That scene is quite creepy, and it goes on for about like 5 minutes. And I'm like,
it goes on for 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes.
It goes on,
and it's boring as shit to me. Unless I'm wearing headphones, and the sound design is very, very good in it. So if I'm wearing headphones watching it, I can get into it. If not, like it's boring as shit. Like
I can't.
If you have the mood for it,
I can't get on board with the idea that there's a Bigfoot like in like even like California. That just seems like too. I don't know. I know America's a big country, but I just can't get. I mean, Bigfoot in the Himalayas, maybe.
Whoa. Dude, Northern California is not what you think it is. You're thinking LA.
Yeah.
It's you. If you fly over the Pacific Northwest, it's just endless woods. Endless.
Nonstop.
It's as remote as anywhere. But I don't believe in it. By the way, I don't believe in Bigfoot at all. But yeah,
it sounds like something for a book, though. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I don't know if I can work a Sasquatch into what I'm doing right now.
Oh, you could.
Just squeeze it in for a page.
You read the last one. You should have an idea that Sasquatch probably ain't showing up.
Just a random Sasquatch just appears for no reason whatsoever.
Just goes in the background. Just walks past.
Non sequitur about fucking Bigfoot.
Very hard to write background action in fiction.
Just type it in. Sasquatch walks past in the background. That's it.
I want a Lorne Dixon Loch Ness book.
I would love to.
I love that. I love that.
But I want it'd have to be a period piece to work for me.
Yeah, that would make it work. Though.
Yeah.
Do you believe in it, Mike? Do you believe in? Do you think it's actually a real
Loch Ness monster? No. The Loch Ness monster? No.
I don't believe in any of the cryptids. I don't believe in ghosts or spirits or gods.
I do. I believe
any of it.
No, I don't. I couldn't even stick with that joke. I don't believe it.
You know what I don't understand about Loch Ness Monster? Like, the people say, oh, it's clearly a plesiosaur. You've seen the surgeon photo, right? How the fuck is that a plesiosaur?
It's a toy.
They look nothing alike whatsoever. People go, oh, it clearly is. It makes no sense.
No.
I mean, it's like the idea of the Loch Ness Monster. It's like, because people think of the Loch Ness Monster and they think, well, it's just one. Well, there's had to be a family, multiple of them, to like survive over the last 100 years.
I'll tell you what, man.
What are they eating to stay? That's a
Fish.
There's a lot of sturgeon in that lake.
I'm amazed how a
think that's-
found footage horror movie has
Where are
never
their
been done about Loch
bones?
Ness.
We never found anything.
There has been a couple of Loch Ness. There's been a couple of Loch Ness movies, but
Yeah,
I
but not
don't know
horror
whether there's
ones,
any
have
good ones. I don't know if there must be some.
Probably
There's been a few B movies based on Loch Ness, probably set in the United States. You know, with like bright
Low-
blue skies, where it's clearly not Scotland.
Loch Ness and New York.
Yeah, what is it about the British Isles that can't keep their
Nessie
skies clear
chilling by it.
ever? What is that?
Oh, you know what? I know a movie that actually set at Loch Ness. It was Jason Takes Manhattan. It's
That
Crystal
makes-
Lake.
That makes a whole lot more sense
'cause
than what's on film. So.
Because Camp Crystal Lake looks a lot like Loch Ness. It doesn't look like anything in New Jersey.
If you drove from Hardwick, New Jersey to Manhattan,
Yeah.
you'd be there in less than 70 minutes.
Yeah.
So this cruise makes no sense.
Mate.
You know, yeah,
Oh,
right.
exactly, yeah.
Never mind
No,
getting
it
from the
never
lake
does.
to the ocean in a boat. It would just you could walk there faster than they do probably.
I always thought that it's same with us in the UK, mate. Right? So you know the film 28 Days Later. I've just
I hate both
rewatched it.
those movies.
Right? I just
I never
rewatched
liked
it.
them.
I'm gonna do reviews for them very soon. But I rewatched 28 Days Later, and again, I actually do like the movie. But when you're in the UK, and they take like 2 days to get from London to like Manchester, right? And there's no traffic, by the way.
You could do it on a
that
bike
in about
2
2 hours.
on a bike.
On a right, Mike.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
There's no way there's an overnight stay from
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
London to
No.
Manchester, is there?
You could get to London to the north of Scotland in like about 9 hours.
So the thing is, and like I say, there's no fucking traffic on the roads, and they still stop off to stay over somewhere. I'm like, you would be there in 2 hours, man. Just fucking floor it, you're there.
That's funny.
There's no overnight stay. That always baffles me about that movie. I like the movie overall, but that part of the movie always fucking pisses me off. I'm like, really?
So
England ain't that big.
I
You know
love
what I mean?
I love when filmmakers who should definitely know better don't.
Well, Danny Boyle should have known better.
Definitely. So the Friday 13th remake, right?
Yeah.
They managed to put New Jersey license plates on the cars, right? So they were into the details. If you know 7 things about New Jersey and you're from the States, you know that you can't pump gas here yourself. We're the last state left where an attendant has to pump your ass. What do they do first thing when the kids get into town? Pump their own
know
gas.
that.
You're like,
Really?
can you? Again, only if you're not from America, you probably don't get this. But
No, don't.
yeah,
They
so,
actually have someone that does it for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we're from Jersey,
Shit.
and we're entitled to that shit.
No, that's
Oh,
like
right.
something that happened like in
Just
the,
never know what?
that's like something in the UK that would happen in like the 1960s.
Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore, man.
Yeah, they have that everywhere, but like
We
they
don't
have
have it.
some places that are self-serve. They have some places that are full-serve and stuff. But in Jersey, it's all
It's all full
yeah,
service.
it's full
Or else
service.
get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't even happen anywhere in the UK, does it?
He's
Unless
man,
I'm
he's,
thinking like
he's so
everyone else.
upset about the gas.
He's
that
just
he
fucked
left.
up.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's gonna go down to the gas station and ask what's up.
Well, where I live on the Isle of Man, anyway, we
You're probably
definitely
thinking
don't
my
have
whole
it.
life I've been doing this, and you could have been pumping my gas. He's yelling at his gas station attendant.
We definitely don't have it where I live anyway. It's just you pump your own. Well, we don't call it gas.
There's
we
like
call it
more
fucking petrol.
full-service gas
Petrol.
stations near me on
Petrol,
Long
yeah.
Island than ones that are self-service. Like there's
Yeah.
more full-service ones near me.
No, you get left to it. You do it yourself. You pump your own. Then you
Well, I
like you
prefer to
walk
pump
in
my
and
own, but I can't.
Mm.
Are we,
Because
are
I'm
we still
going to
are we-
fucking jail.
Are we still talking? Are we still talking like what are we talking about now?
It's-
JT, see, you bring up the worst in people, man. I blame you.
What the fuck did I do?
You're just there,
He's from New
mate.
York. There's even crazier
New
shit
York.
about New York than there is about
I know,
Jersey.
man.
Oh, yeah.
Get into the weeds.
I tell you what, man, you have to show me where to go. I can't wait to come over. By the way, man, I'm so
I
looking
know,
forward
yeah.
to it. You have to show me where to go.
So let me ask you,
You gotta let me know the dates again, Dave.
I will do, mate.
After this, yeah.
if you go grocery shopping, at the end, do they give you bags?
What, in here in New York?
What?
No, you.
Well, I think I know your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We don't get them either in Jersey.
Oh.
But you have to understand how hostile New Jersey is. It's a really bad move. There's a lot of freaking upset people every day of every shop in the state.
I had to go and, what goes in must come out. That's the saying.
No, we thought you went to complain at the gas station that they haven't been filling your gas all these years.
Well,
We don't call it gas, JT.
I know, whatever. Petrol bullshit.
Okay, right. Okay, I've got.
It's like
Okay,
they fill their cars with petroleum jelly, apparently.
Yeah.
That's right.
They turn on torches.
And chocolate.
It's flashlight.
They get the torch out of the boot of their car.
Yes, they do.
That's right.
Listen,
They
I've
have
Yes,
got-
correct. By the way, have you heard JT's British accent? Please do it again.
It's fucking
No, there's no
atrocious.
chance.
And make
You
sure
wanna
to use
see
the word
fucking
aluminum
whole video.
improperly.
Aluminum.
Aluminum or whatever the fuck you guys say. You
Aluminium.
add syllables just because you feel
Yeah.
good about it.
Aluminium or something.
That's it. Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Yeah,
That's what it is, though, isn't it?
That's it.
No, it's
Aluminum.
aluminum.
No,
Isn't
it's
that
not.
isn't that
It's-
absurd, JT?
It's aluminum.
It's
Yeah.
aluminium.
Look at how the word's spelled.
Isn't? Yeah. It's
Hang on. Whoa. Hang on.
really
Where,
can't-
hang on, we're
What's-
fucking
hang on,
English.
Hang on.
We made
What,
this.
what's this language called? It's called English.
Yeah.
What country did it
American.
originate from?
Doesn't matter which one originated. We're the ones speaking it fucking right.
Bastardizing our glorious
Aluminum.
language.
You know what? You guys wouldn't even have the light bulb without us, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And you'd call
And
it.
that was a Jersey thing too.
Oh, I love you guys. Man.
Okay, listen, I've got a question. Because this is something I raised on a stream a few weeks ago, which I was doing a solo stream, so I've answered the question. I can't remember what the answer was. I've messaged Dave and JT this earlier on, so they may have something prepared. Lorne, I'm sure you probably know anyway. You might have been watching. You might have actually been watching my stream when I answered it. You might have actually answered the question in the comments. So, what is the greatest movie? Sorry, how do I wear this? Which director has the best sort of 4 consecutive movies in terms of horror? Oh no, it doesn't have to be horror. It can be anything. So I went with Carpenter for Halloween through to.
He's the obvious one, though.
I don't know, for me, it would be Argento or
Carpenter. I think I went with Carpenter. But
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
in terms of what I love, anyway.
might be
so I mean-
Argento from Deep Red to Tenebrae.
So I'm gonna get shit because you asked this question before, like anything changed, but I said William Friedkin because
Okay.
I mean,
Perfect.
you have Boys in the Band, you have The French
Yeah.
Connection, you have The Exorcist, and you have Sorcerer. Those are fucking perfect films.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, now it sounds like I'm just because we lost Friedkin, bolstering his name. But no, that was my answer before he died.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Boys in the Band, it's not something you think you're going to enjoy. You're going to love the freaking movie. It's
I've never
perfect-
seen it.
No, it's a brilliant film.
Many
It's,
years ago.
it's
Yeah, it's really good.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Sorcerer, if you have not seen Sorcerer, oh my god, that movie
Yeah.
will destroy you.
It's good. It's weird, man, because when you sent me that message, Freakin' was literally the first director I thought of.
Yeah.
But I would also you would have like coming out with horror. The most obvious one, I think, Tarantino is probably the most obvious director you would say. And then I even looked at Christopher Nolan, even though I haven't seen his first movie. I think it was called The Following or something, which I've never seen.
A following?
Yeah. I've never seen it, so
It's okay.
I don't know anything about it. But obviously, the next one after that, I forget. Memento.
The guy,
which was really good.
Memento.
Memento.
Yeah. And then you had Insomnia, which I think was a really good movie. I really enjoyed that. And then Nolan's fourth movie was Batman Begins, which is one of my favorite Batman movies. So I think Nolan had a solid Ghostbusters 4.
Well, how about Toby Hooper?
Yes.
Chainsaw, Eaten Alive, Salem's
Yeah.
Lot, and Funhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, great one.
Yeah.
All
Solid.
great ones.
Very solid.
That's
See,
pretty
I
hard
think
to
he did a great job with Salem's Lot. It's still that is still creepy. I don't care what anyone says to this day, man.
The
That,
miniseries
as a
version,
kid, that
the full miniseries version is amazing.
yes, it is. It is
I looked at Spielberg and I couldn't find 4 Spielberg films that went together, as in
in a row. Yeah.
it just there was something that like 1941 fucked up his
Yeah.
4
And
movies.
then you have Always that screws up like Jurassic Park.
Yes. Yeah. Fucking hell, I forgot about that film.
I mean,
That's with
That is a
Richard
bad
Dreyfuss in it.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
the
is a
more,
bad-
It is
the
Richard
more I
Dreyfuss,
keep
isn't it?
thinking
Dave.
of it, for me, it's probably it's probably Dario Argento.
Dave, I don't-
Deep
I
Red,
don't-
Suspiria, Inferno, and Tenebrae.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
I
good
don't want to
shout.
sway you. I don't want to sway your opinion, Dave. But come on, I mean, Carpenter, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, and The Thing.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah, that's
That's-
Oh, no.
Dave, that's-
Carpenter's up there. If
It's,
you want to
it's,
say
it's,
the longest stretch of masterpieces, then I would definitely
It's
go
pe-
with Argento.
it's perfect, mate. And I feel bad about that because, like, it was only when I first started doing my channel. Fucking hell, man. It'll be 2 years ago now, right?
Oh, wow.
So when I first started, like, talking to Gareth and stuff, and I confessed to him, and I was like, do you know what? I've never watched The Thing. And he was, like, shocked.
I
I'm
would've
sure,
flipped
like, you
on
guys
if
were
I
as
heard
well.
that
He
from
was
you.
literally like, what? And he went, you need to watch it now. Go and watch it. And I was like, yeah, all right, okay. And I did, and I love it. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, it was just a film that just kind of passed me by over the years. I knew it was always something that I needed to watch. But it just, for whatever reason, it just kind of missed me a few times. And then when I eventually did watch it, I was
everybody
like,
has movies like that. I
Yeah.
just saw Invasion of the Body Snatchers '78, like a few months ago, 2 months ago.
Oh, it's
First
amazing.
oh,
movie.
I
Oh, it's
really enjoyed
brilliant.
that film.
It's
Yeah.
very good. I've seen the
But the
original,
thing,
and
when I watched it-
I never got around to it.
Yeah, and then when I watched The Thing, I was like, I get it. I
Yeah,
get
the
why
greatest-
this
the
is
greatest
like
film ever made.
absolutely beloved. It is so fucking good. But then what really surprised me was just doing a little bit of research on the movie, looking back. It got fucking slated when it came out.
Mhm.
I can't actually believe it. It literally
yeah.
like didn't get any good reviews at
No.
all.
No, they
From
were hating on
anybody.
that movie.
And I'm watching that movie going, really? It's brilliant.
And
I've got
that's
to-
Like,
like-
it's absolutely
that's like
brilliant.
probably one of like the biggest reappraisals in like
Yeah.
the horror
Yeah,
history.
definitely.
Yeah, it went.
Without a
Yeah.
doubt.
How about Lucio Fulci? Not for the obvious period, but City of the Living Dead, Black Cat, Beyond, and House by the Cemetery.
I still need to watch all them, mate.
I
Which
get- that's a
hopefully
great
I will do
question.
with my boy down here.
I've not seen Black Cat,
Black
so
Cat is
honestly,
so underrated,
I've not
man.
seen
Black
it.
Cat is such an underrated Fulci film.
Yeah, I like Psychic more. They're very similar films,
I
but
love this.
or you know,
Yeah,
JT
Psychic I like much more than the Black Cat. But
JT,
Black Cat
you're
is
gonna
underrated.
you're gonna introduce me to a lot of Italian horror, aren't you? So we're gonna do it on
Well,
your
we
channel,
have
aren't
been. We have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
Demons and Demons 2 you've seen before, but
Oh, well,
Suspiria
I've seen-
you
yeah,
watched for the first time.
I really enjoyed. I watched it. I'll tell you what, mate. I watched it the day after we did our because as much as I enjoyed it, you can't really like.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You know.
that's what especially that movie is one you got to like fully experience.
Yeah, and I rewatched it again the day after.
yeah.
I love that film, mate. I think it's I get it.
It's just a work of art.
I get your love for it. And then, but the part though where she falls into all that barbed wire again,
I know, it's
laughed
so funny.
still just as
Oh, yeah,
hard because I
it's so-
thought that is
so
fucking ridiculous.
I know, and she's fully in the room. Like
Yeah.
it's not like she like looked and like in through and like fell in head first. No,
Yeah.
she's in that room and like
She's straight.
right below her, and she don't look down at all.
She's straight in, and I laughed at that. I was
That's
like,
so
yeah,
funny.
that's ridiculous. But no, we still have to do more of that, mate. Just introduce
for
me to
sure.
all your movies, man. And I
I'll have. I said maybe we'll do after Demons 2, we'll do
what's the
City
City
of the Living Dead.
we do? Yeah.
Yeah, City of the Living Dead by Fulci.
Yeah.
I think that's a good intro movie for Fulci. That of zombie.
I'm up for that, mate. And with doing that, man, it gives us a good year of content.
Yeah,
I tell you what, mate. Any excuse just to talk to you in your live stream anyway
So-
out there.
Me too, brother.
Yeah, like so. Here's one. Cronenberg. Now, there's 3 movies I love here, but there's one movie I've not seen now. So
Go on.
we've got Shivers, love. Rabid, love.
Rabbit's
The
great.
Brood, love. But
The Brood's my favorite film.
There's a movie called Fast Company which I've never seen, so I can't honestly.
I don't even know what that
I
is.
haven't seen Fast Company either.
It's
But the
like
Brood.
it's like American Graffiti by Cronenberg.
Right.
Does that ruin like the?
Is
the
that good or
form-
bad?
For me, it's a big stumbling block. It's not the worst film he's made, though. But I mean, still, it's Cronenberg. It's solid.
So
It's not in genre. It's not in genre.
The Brood's my favorite Cronenberg.
I love Brood.
Well,
Yeah, the
if
Brood
you
is so
if you were to go forward, then you could have the Brood, Scanners, Videodrome, and the Dead Zone. They are four
Yeah.
absolute.
Yeah.
And then you got
I-
the Fly.
Great film.
The
Man.
Fly is brilliant.
Mhm.
I love
Cronenberg
that fucking movie, man.
It's
Love
got
it.
such a Cronenberg got such a solid
Yeah.
you know. I didn't like Crimes of the Future. I will say.
I did.
I just couldn't warm to that film. But
I love The Fly, mate. Absolutely fucking. I watched that about. I think I watched that like
Oh, it's
once
great.
a year. The Fly. Jeff Goldblum is so good in that movie.
I love him. in
So
general.
good.
The
I love him in general as well, but
The only
like when it
problem-
comes to
Yeah,
like a
he's
performance, he's
He's excellent,
really good
yeah.
in that.
The only problem with Jeff Goldblum is he already seems like an insect before the movie begins.
And you know what? You just might disagree with
Big
me,
and
but
lanky.
I don't mind the sequel to The Fly. I actually think it's quite solid on its own. You may disagree with me on it.
I
I actually
haven't
think
seen the
it's okay.
sequel in so long. I don't
I
remember.
I
anything
more
about
disagree with you than agree.
Well, that's our relationship, mate. Unfortunately,
okay, I had no idea that Sergio Martino.
Yeah.
These three
Yeah.
movies here, that's a hell of a trilogy. Now I've not seen The Case of the Scorpion's Tail, but those three movies are
it's
fucking.
it's a
great.
true giallo. It's not a slasher really much at all.
No,
So
I've
it's a
seen
true giallo. It's a grimy crime film basically, but it's good. It's also kind of globe trotting, which is unexpected. But it's good. All the Colors of the Dark is just a stone cold masterpiece.
Oh, I
Yes,
did like that. I mean, I watched that on your recommendation. I did really.
And Your
enjoy it.
Vice's Locked Room is great too.
Yeah, it is. Torso's
Oh, that's the
brilliant.
Black Cat.
And Torso is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. Your Vice's Locked Room is literally that adaptation of Poe's Black Cat. So
yeah.
I have been trying to catch up on that I did a countdown of like the greatest British horror movies, and I did watch. I've been watching trying to watch as many as I can, and what have I watched?
you watched Twins of Evil yet?
Twins of Evil, not yet. I watched From
Yeah.
Beyond.
Get on it.
Okay, I watched From Beyond the Grave last night,
Mhm.
which I really enjoyed. Peter Cushing looks so ill in that film.
he looked ill for years,
His
mate.
I've never
Yeah.
seen anybody with such. His cheekbones are like literally getting sucked into his face.
Yeah.
It's so like
Funny.
he just looks so.
He
I
looked
watched-
ill for about 50 years.
Have you
that
watched
man.
Curse of the Crimson Altar?
No.
That's another one. Yeah, well, it might be the Crimson Cult for you though, because I think the British title is Crimson Cult. You need to see that. That's great.
Yeah. I watched I watched Asylum, which I really liked.
Oh yeah, the block.
The
Block,
Shout.
yeah.
The Shout. I really enjoyed the Shout. The Abominable Dr. Phibes. I really enjoyed.
Both those films are great.
Legend of Hell House. I wasn't
Mhm.
as keen on that as I thought I would be.
It's not the Madison novel it should be, but it's and Roddy McDowell.
Of the most recent movies of those old school British movies, I think Frenzy, the Hitchcock movie, I loved Frenzy. That was such a good movie. It's like a going back. I just love those old London movies from like the 60s and 70s, where it's just like
Yeah.
it's
There's a
all-
personality to them, isn't there?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
modern London's kind of lost that sort of uniqueness, and it's like
massively.
the old pubs and stuff. And I like the
Some,
random.
some girl on a motorcycle showing up. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all-
but
right.
it's the randomness that in that movie, like two guys go into a pub and have a conversation, and they're never seen again.
Yeah.
And you're like, why were they even in the movie? But I like the fact that you just turn up and like say something, and then just like, I thought, are they not coming back? No, they're just gone. It's like one of England's most famous actresses at the time is in one scene as a barmaid,
Yeah.
and she never goes. She
Who was
never
that?
comes back.
Who was it?
She was in the Craze movie. Billy Whitelaw or someone.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Do you
she
mean
was like-
the craze one with the brothers? Not
Yeah, Yeah.
Not the Tom Hardy one with the
No, the older
other,
one.
The other
yeah,
mob.
she played the mother, but yeah, she just appears in one scene and like never comes back. And like she was billed as like one of the main characters, and I'm like, where's she gone? Is that it?
It was
okay,
mate. It was the same to me when I watched the. Oh man, what's it called? Why? Oh, fucking hell! Why is the name escaping me? But anyway, Bruce Campbell was like the first name on the fucking DVD, and Sam Raimi's in it, and it's set in like a shop. Fucking hell! What's it called? It's the guy from Evil Dead 2 that ends up being the killer. Spoiler if no one's seen it.
Intruder.
That's it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Intruders. Intruders is a great movie.
It's awesome. I love it.
It is.
But when I got it, yeah,
I know.
When I got on DVD, so it was on Shudder, but it was the uncut version. It was on Shudder. It wasn't the full version. So I got it on DVD off Amazon for like it had like an extra, I think like 7-8 minutes on it or whatever. But it was uncut and had like Bruce Campbell was like the first name. And then Sam Raimi was the second name. So I was like, oh, fucking hell, Bruce Campbell's in this.
Well, isn't there
like watching the movie, like, where's Bruce Campbell? And he's right at the end as the copper for about a minute.
That's
no. But I really do like Intruder. I think it's great.
There's a slasher film with Brad Pitt called Cutting Class from the 80s. Now, I've not seen it. Now, is Brad Pitt barely in the film, or is he a main character?
It's an ensemble film. He's in it a decent amount. It's just as slasher films go, it's pretty bloodless and boring.
Yeah,
I know
it'll be the same as what was it, George Clooney's one? He's got one from the 80s called Horror High, and he's barely in it.
Oh, he's in the beginning.
Yeah,
he's in that Killer Tomatoes film more.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Lord, that's awful.
Lorne, have you seen I've seen a couple of like extended documentaries about this movie, and I think Piz did a video about this film. Final Exam from like the early 80s.
Yeah.
Like somebody like made like an extensive almost like an hour video about it, and he said like how it was one of the most pure slasher films ever. In terms of it is just what it is. It's just the way it was filmed, the way it was shot, and it's just a guy whose sole intention is just to kill people. It's almost like a slasher film in its purest form. I thought it was boring as hell.
It is.
I've heard that.
Really dull.
Oh my god, it goes on. It's like I obviously you want a bit of character development in a slasher film just to make you care about the characters. This movie spends like 50 minutes developing characters who we still hate 50 minutes later, and only then starts to kill them off. Yeah. And the first kill, it just goes on forever. And it's like it's a guy tied around a tree, I think. And they keep teasing out that he's going to be killed in a minute. And then they keep on having these false jump scares. So it's like, oh my God, this film is just insufferable.
I was going to review it, right? So it's on Shudder. And I was going to, this has got to be about maybe when I really first started out. And that was, I think after I did Slaughter High, I was going to do Final Exam.
Oh my God, Slaughter High.
Slaughter High, oh, do you know what? It's so bad, but
Lorne, Lorne, please tell me you don't like the Slaughter High.
No.
So
I'll be honest with you. Like when people, I remember being on a very early, it might have been a Sausage Factory because it was in the early days of me hanging out with that crew. And they were like, well, what's your favorite kind of horror movie? What's your favorite subgenre? And they're going around and like everyone's saying fucking 80s slashers. And it's like bizarre to me because I've seen a lot of the 80s slashers. I think there's very little I haven't seen. It is so top heavy with garbage. And then you have like a handful of great movies. I can think of like so many other subgenres that give you so many better films. And I'm ultimately, I said classic monsters of the 30s and 40s, but Jesus Christ, like there's a lot of bad slasher films, and that's the reason I think we keep going back to like the main 5 franchises, because like no one really is going to make a case that Dorm That Dripped Blood deserves a critical reevaluation, or The Forest. Come on, these are not great films.
No, they're not. No.
I don't know.
But I was going to do Final Exam. Someone put me off it. I don't know what happened. I might have got like a Twitter message off somebody, or I think I put it out there saying, "Oh, Final Exam's next after Slaughter High" or whatever. And someone literally said, I think it was, sent me a message saying, "Don't."
So,
Like literally, don't waste your time. It's
right.
so boring. And I was like, okay. And then I got another one. It said exactly the same thing, and then another one, and I just went, yeah. Do you know what? I'll skip it. I haven't watched it since.
Here's a question though, because this boggles my mind, right? So Australia is now like ending physical media in all intents and purposes now. Certain Screen Factory and numerous others, they release physical media releases for the most obscure, like bad. I mean, not just obscure movies, but like actually indisputably bad movies. Because I mean, obviously, I like Piers and Christian, you guys who really sort of like love. I mean, physical media in terms of like getting everything possible, which I wish I could do, but I can't because it's just no time, no space, no money. But like, where is the logical reasoning for a film company to like put a lot of money into like extras and everything into a movie that when the movie came out nobody gave a shit about and is a bad movie anyway? So how is the logistically, in terms of financially, how are they making money on releasing a really, really bad movie with all these extras? And because I just don't understand how you can justify. I'm glad they do, but financially, it doesn't seem to be make any sense. I don't understand why they do it.
Remember before when we were talking about the internet being the best and worst things for the genre?
Yeah.
You've hit upon another way to fix it. So it's become a thing where people collect everything or label releases, and they get all excited. They're streaming like their shopping expeditions during the annual sale. And the truth is, I buy movies that I want to watch and I don't want to be without. So if I'm not going to watch a film at least 4 or 5 more times in my remaining 30 years or whatever I have, I'm not buying it. Because there's something I will that I should buy instead. Something like a Final Exam. I don't care how great it looks in this iteration. I'm never going to want to watch it. So I think in a best worlds, everything's out there and whoever loves it can grab it. But we're not there anymore. The physical media world is descending quickly. The only place where it's doing really well is with these boutique labels that have a fan base towards the label. Oh, I buy any. People are discovering films they didn't know that might be obvious films for you or I, having been in the culture for a while. But they're discovering them because Scream Factory puts them out or Vinegar Syndrome puts them out. And that's beautiful. It's wonderful. But we're the last ones left. And the pool of movies that haven't been released is getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So if you're going to ask Severin not to put out a piece of shit, simply that they know will sell, I got news for you. They got to stay in business. They know at least initially that the copies will sell.
There's an audience, yeah.
They're going to do it because there's people who buy every Severin release.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on any one label. I love Vinegar Syndrome for preserving some films I never thought would get preserved. I love 88 Films for preserving certain films that there's no... Error 7777 is a new label that's putting out some films I never thought would get the kind of treatment. They just put out Red Spells Red, which listen, I can finally get rid of my VCD. I'm happy. But we're like the last dredge. And that's why these companies can put out releases, films that probably don't deserve deluxe releases, because we're the last ones buying this shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, in terms of a movie, let's just say, let's take I'm trying to think of something like slightly more obscure, which is the Screen Factory will drop, which is like how many physical copies will they put out to the general public? Are we talking because they go for a lot of money once they've gone, they do tend to go for a lot of money. So I'm guessing that they're not putting that many out.
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers of any of these, but you'd be shocked by how little of some of this is. This pressings of certain titles that would be like 20,000 copies, 30. And in the past, they would have put that on. They put a little bar at the bottom to show how few are being made. But now that's kind of the mainstream.
Yeah.
Like you're not seeing them press 200,000 copies of things of the scale that we're gonna buy. Like a new Jurassic Park film, yeah, that's getting.
Yeah.
But no, it's physical media is in a really dire spot right now.
I know, it's so sad.
Basically, outside of the boutique collectors community, it is a dead issue everywhere.
Yeah. And I prefer physical media. I would rather buy something and own it. Because like you say, like when you if you get anything from digital, you don't really own that. Like it could literally, it could go.
Yeah.
I found something.
I think Apple with they can just take it and it's not yours anymore.
I bought something from Amazon. I was doing a review. I forget what it was. It could have been. Oh God, man! It could have been Chud 2. Right? I don't remember. But it could have been Chud 2. When I just bought it, it was like £5 or whatever. And I thought, okay, that's gone now. If I go into my library, I can't watch that anymore. It's not there.
Because you bought access to the link.
Exactly.
You did not buy the movie.
That's
if
the
the
thing.
link is no longer legally available, then that's tough shit.
That's it. Yeah. And that's why I prefer physical media, because you bought the movie. It's there.
Right.
You've got it.
Well, like you guys know, and I won't make this discreet about these types of things, but like right now, India is in the position that Italy was in '76. Like great film after great film after great film. And there's people who are willing to take the role on a foreign country, and there's those who won't. I think in enough time, this is going to be looked back as a golden period of Indian horror. So, you know, my suggestion is everyone jump on it now so you're not disappointed later, but because it won't last forever either. Every country gets their moment. But there is no physical media releases in India. And there hasn't been for quite a long time. They were one of the first to embrace streaming as the distribution. Their films actually, in the opening credits, tell you who their streaming partners are. So it's built into the financing of these films.
Right.
So,
do you think that's going to happen everywhere else?
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, sad.
Because, well, the problem is the boutique labels can keep doing what they're doing, but when things are selling less and less, do prices usually go up or down?
Yeah.
They're going to produce less of them because there's less demand, but the demand that's out there is going to pay more for the individual product. That's how this works. So that's self-defeating, right? Like, are you willing to pay $60 a release? I'm not.
No.
Are you?
No.
I'm already looking.
No.
I already look at 30 as too much.
Yeah.
And that's half of what it's heading towards. So
the one thing about physical media, and one thing about physical media in terms of like, because obviously you're very passionate about books, as we all are, you know, but especially being an author. Exactly. The thing about books that,
love it.
I'm only missing one of the Jason X novels.
The thing that books have as an advantage over like DVD, you know, Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and video games is that like, if you buy let's say you buy a 4K movie, how much physical interactions you have with that? You open it, you open it, you put the disc in, you watch. Everyone else is passive, yeah. With a book, 100% of your interaction is physical. And books have been around for, hundreds. Like, how many hundreds of years have books been around for? Is it like 1,000 years? 2,000 years?
Just say a long time.
Yeah, basically, from the point of language, there have been recorded language. So yeah,
long time.
There's a cave painting somewhere that qualifies as a book. So
yeah.
So I would say that, you know, books are always going to be safe. There's no way books will cease to exist. Surely.
15 years ago, when the ebook thing was heating up again and Kindle was being introduced, there was a lot of people in the writing community that were screaming, "This is it! What happened to, CDs and is going to happen to us? What's happening?" And for a little while, it looked like it, and then about 4 years into that experiment, it started sliding in the other direction. Today, there's people who only read electronic books, and for those people, they make sense. But the sales are by and large still physical dead trees.
Yeah.
But the difference there, I'm going to tell you, is that reading is not a passive form of entertainment. You put a lot of effort personally into it. You have to read, you have to envision, you have to follow, you have to remember between multiple sittings. There's a lot that goes into enjoying the medium. I think it's way more rewarding long term, right? So I think it's worth the effort, but that's going to be different for everyone. That's not what movies are. Movies are escapism. So for a lot of people, they don't need to own a physical copy of a movie because they're going to watch it once and never freaking think about it again because they just go to the next link on Reddit, on Redbox or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. A book could be like a 3-month investment. A movie's a 90-minute investment.
I think it's even more than that because here's the thing, Mike. You read Divide by Zero. I live in your brain a little bit now for the rest of your life. You're welcome.
Yeah. I
love that.
It's true.
Lorne's written a sex scene that lives in my brain.
That is true, and that's not even the explicit one that he hasn't gotten to yet. So, but that's a different format. Literature has been always blessed and cursed. We need to find readers who really believe in us, but once they do, they get more out of it than they ever will get out of any film. So it's a mixed bag. You're not going to have as many people decide to roll the die on you, but those who do, hopefully you can reward.
I'll tell you what, Lon, can I ask you a question that I've always kind of been fascinated by when it comes to like kind of artists or writers like yourself? Like you've put a book out. A couple. Sorry. Okay, a couple.
Okay.
Have you ever, after you've finished and it's published and it's out there, do you ever kind of feel like, oh, maybe I should have done maybe this different in the story or that different? Do you ever kind of revisit it that way, or are you happy with, you go, no, that was it, that's out there?
So I'll answer that in a way that's very non-artistic.
well,
no, seriously.
Answer any way you want, mate.
Have you ever had a perfect grocery store run where you're
Never.
Absolutely happy with everything you've gotten?
No, because I always forget something.
You always forget something, or you decided to go with the store brand because just a few bucks you get home and you're like, wow, these are not like Nabisco at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't think there's anything in life that as humans we're completely happy with.
Yeah.
That we're responsible for. And I think writing, there's a lot of work.
Intrigued about it. That's what makes me intrigued about it a little bit, because like I love the fact that you've done it massively, and it always makes me think that maybe sometimes even directors of movies or whatever might look back on stuff and go, shit, maybe we should have done that different. It just fascinates me a little bit.
Well, I can tell you that with absolute certainty, like, because it's a business and that's the other side of it, like, I'm not the last hands that touch my text before you read it.
Okay.
There's editors in the process.
All right. Okay.
And so
I didn't know that.
So, yeah, so it gets to a point where it's a little bit like what's on the page never is going to be able to feel like pure me.
Okay.
To me. Now, you'll never know.
It's not 100%.
No. And you'll never feel that.
Okay.
Because hopefully it's all one voice, right? By that point, or feels like it. But the stuff, Blue Wheel is a great example of a what I call a hard birth, whereas my editor had a very different take on the book and the material than I did, and there was tons of fights.
Jesus, man.
The publisher himself had to get involved in some of the fights.
That must have been frustrating.
It is, and you remember, like, the process of writing a novel, between the drafting and the initial writing, you have. I personally would have a year invested no matter what, but that book was a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
And then you're tearing it apart to put it back together, and it feels Frankenstein, and you're not sure what worked, and you can't see.
And it's not your original voice that you put into it. It's
so.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that Divide by Zero was a different case. I had an editor who was much more on page. There was a few red lines. There was a few conversations, but it's a lot closer, and it's a lot easier for me to look at that book.
Right. Okay.
But I think all it comes down to is, if you want to tell stories, if you want to entertain people, you have to be willing to play the game with the system that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why sometimes when I look at a film like Alien 3, which I love, right? And people
Yeah.
go, oh, the studio fucked that movie. Yeah, but it still came out the other side as a beautiful thing, in my opinion.
Mm.
I see it as even more magical film because it is strong on the other side of all the interference.
Yeah.
Perfect world, yeah, it wouldn't have been interfered with. But you know what? We don't live in that world. Nothing comes out that way.
I know it's so frustrating, man, when you say that, because you would like to think that if a studio or company or whatever like hires somebody, say, bring their book out or movie out, their voice should be 100% out there for it. Like, why the studio gets them? I understand they've put investment into it. I get it, but then don't hire that person. If you're going to interfere, don't bother. Let them do it. Let them bring their vision to life. That's what you're pouring. Well, not pouring, but that's what you're like putting your money in. That's what you're like banking on. If you start to interfere in that yourself, like for argument's sake, say if I spent money on somebody who has a script, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, right, I want you to make this movie. I would like literally leave them to do it. The moment you start pouring your own kind of bullshit into it, it's not theirs anymore.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate for just a moment,
Okay.
But understand I'm more on your side of this than what I'm about to say. But
I'm just saying this from just like an average Joe bloke. You know what I mean?
This is just to illustrate kind of how it's a little bit more complex of an issue than we tend to like it to be.
Yeah.
So the first of the Legendary's Godzilla movies, right?
Yeah.
They hired the Breaking Bad actor for the role of the father that opens the film, and he's the inciting incident in the film. Like he's
really good in that movie as well.
His death gives you the
I
character arc for the main character, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't hire him as the main lead of the film. Now they used him for the to advertise the film because he was saleable.
Yes.
But they hired him to play a specific role. There's a lot of people who hated that movie upon release simply because they killed off his character within the first 6 minutes.
I love that Godzilla 2014.
And they
I think it's brilliant. Yeah.
I love what Legendary are doing, period. But
yeah,
because it wasn't the movie they had in their head,
yes,
they dislike the film. And I think Alien 3 is another example of this. And I'll use that as an example because everyone knows my feelings on it. But killing Newton Hicks was the right thing to do for that story.
Yes.
But that wasn't the story in other people's heads.
Yeah.
They want to tell a story about isolation, and you can't have friends in isolation. That's also why the only other character that Ripley befriends has to die immediately too. She has to continually be brought to zero.
Yeah.
That's the movie they're telling.
Yeah.
But people had in their head they wanted aliens. They wanted the fun romp.
Yeah.
And they were judging Alien 3 based on aliens.
I love
which of
Alien
course
3.
people are going to hate Alien 3.
I love both versions, man. I love it. I really enjoy it.
That's a healthier version. Like I don't like aliens. So like for me, if my comparison for Alien 3 is Alien.
Yeah.
Right? Alien is the better film, but I love Alien 3 a lot.
Yeah.
But I think people the studios got wind of this though now, and they're trying to feed what people want or what they think people want. So if there's a bunch of articles in the mainstream press about I don't know, pick your current touch.
I think this where Disney's going wrong.
Yeah. Right, and they assume that's going to resonate, so they throw it into everything, and they need it in everything. By not realizing that even those articles were probably 18 months to 2 years out of date with where people's heads are at.
Yeah.
So, why can't we get a heroic cop film? When's the last buddy cop film we've had, right? Well, it's because for the last, I don't know, 7 years, the police have been portrayed as brutal like predators on the street in the media.
Yeah.
So we can't have Lethal Weapon, whatever.
Yeah. I haven't even thought it. Do you know what? I haven't even thought of it like that.
So like someone comes to the studio says, hey, I want to make this film. It's a great screenplay. It gets put to someone else who's reading it now, who's saying, okay, where does this fit in the culture? How do we sell this thing? Oh, these parts are problematic because of this and this and this that happened this year. We can't have a gun in a school because there was a school shooting 2 weeks ago on the news. Now, mind you, in 14 months when the movie comes out, maybe there hasn't been a school shooting. probably has, honestly. But
Is it in the US? Probably.
Yeah,
listen,
unfortunately, so yeah.
from the same 3 states, mind you. But anyway, that's a whole different issue. Commercial arts are going to always have to feed the commercial bottom line.
Yeah.
And on the high side of it is movies where you're spending $200 million to make a mega movie, right? So you have to have a very diverse cast because you got to sell this all around the world. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it hurts the mega movies necessarily because it's kind of built into what they are.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you have the other side of it, which is like comic books and novels, whereas like the audience is much smaller. So they try and make sure they fit that box.
Mm.
It's different process, but it's always that corrupting influence if you want just a pure artistic vision. I'm okay with the corruption to a degree.
Okay.
Like there's things I've been told that things have to go. Lines of dialogue have to go. I'm currently talking to my publisher about a specific line of dialogue, and they get where I'm coming from. They just don't know if they are quite brave enough to do it because it uses a word that's very unpopular in the world right now.
Right.
That it might be a word that just got removed from a William Friedkin film. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's all a matter of context, though, how it's used. And I think if you guys know me, you know it wasn't used in an irresponsible way.
Exactly. Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have just a
Do you
situation.
think the world's just become? Do you think it's just become too sensitive as well?
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
you're not like able to like.
It's about media, man.
Yeah.
So if you have to fill 24 hours of a news cycle, you're going to just keep going back and repeating the same stories until they seem way more important than they are.
Yeah.
Like Lauren, you put a tweet out yesterday about like how you should say something brave and don't censor yourself. In the UK, we've got a comedy festival called the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yeah.
Where the comedians go and
Yeah.
Somebody was cancelled because of their support of J.K. Rowling. Basically, they had similar views to J.K. Rowling, so they were cancelled. And then they tried to arrange to do a show at another venue, and then they cancelled them. So it's just this pile-on culture. It's like it's just insane. It's like
listen. There's artists that we don't like for reasons, right? Personally, I'm not going to go see a Jim Cameron film for the rest of my life. Spoilers, if that was a surprise to anyone. But here's the thing: I'm not telling you guys you shouldn't go see.
That's the difference, man.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
Now, listen. If I was a trans woman, I probably wouldn't be reading Harry Potter. That's probably true, right? Mm-hmm. And I can get their viewpoint. I completely do. I'm not, and I'm still not going to read Harry Potter. But guess what? If I was interested in like juvenile sorcery stories, I guess I would.
Yeah.
And no one should be told that anyone else shouldn't make their own decision. The tyranny of language.
I agree with you, man.
The tyranny of language is just that you get to control your own lips, not your neighbor's lips, right?
Exactly.
Except maybe if there's a safe word and some leather involved.
I mean,
I always find it when it comes to these people. Like, sorry, mate. I'm just going to say, man.
Carry on.
What really winds me up about these people that want to cancel everyone and want to, it fucks me off so much because you're putting words into
it's all
my
their
mouth.
Opinion.
It's their opinion, and it's like, hang on a minute, that's not mine. What gives you the right to tell me I can't view this movie the way it's supposed to be, or I can't watch this comedian? It fucking pisses me off. Like,
I can fix this, and both sides will be happy. You ready?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Remember we were talking a moment about that $200 million movie?
Yeah.
That's the problem. We have all the technology out there capable for everyone to have a voice with some amplification behind it. Yeah. Now it's going to vary how much. Like I'm a small press horror guy because mainstream horror publishers are not going to really want me. That's cool. I can't tell my stories that I want to tell if I write what they want, and they can't publish what I want to reach the audience. It's fine. I found my niche, right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy there. I'm cool. There's people who believe that there should be endless amplification to anything they enjoy. If you haven't noticed, no one ever calls for censorship of something they actually like.
Very true, mate. Yeah.
So what it comes out to is we need to have a platform so that artists of all stripes in all fields have equal access to release without the burdens of economy or gatekeeper. If we had that, then the best idea could just win. As it stands right now, there are a variety of roadblocks for people of all different viewpoints. And we don't see the challenges that anyone that doesn't share our viewpoint has. It's very human to only see things through our own eyes. I feel for people who are outside the mainstream in ways that perhaps we find obnoxious at the moment because they're over-amplified. But you want to know what? Tomorrow they could be under-amplified, and maybe we don't get some great stories that came from voices that we wouldn't expect to enjoy. That would suck.
Yeah.
But I think if we all had equal access to a medium, it'd be great. And that's why YouTube actually should be an amazing thing, right? The conversation we're having right now wouldn't be shared, I'm thinking, by people who run YouTube. But this video, I guarantee, won't get taken down. Now, maybe it would if this channel was, PewDiePie, right?
Yeah.
But right now, in its own level, this is like the small press. You have much more freedom at this point. If you get bigger, then you're going to have to put up a Halloween video every week. Congratulations. Your life sucks.
True. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
I think all these things that we talk about are really interrelated because we're just talking about how people, spend their time and how they choose to spend their money and their resources and their mental, capacity.
Yeah.
And I don't support censorship ever. I support people. I love people.
Yes. Yeah.
I also hate people. It's kind of mixed thing. I don't trust anyone.
It's a beautiful relationship to have, isn't it?
I don't trust anyone to be good, but I'm always rooting for all the underdogs, all of you, no matter where you came from, no matter how different you are from me. I'm always rooting for you. But I will not vote for your clade of people.
Yeah.
Because there's good and bad in every clade.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to support any group. I'm going to support people.
Yeah, my worry as well, with because obviously about censorship, but with everything going to streaming now, it's like people like maybe 10 years, 20 years from now watching an old Disney movie or an old whatever movie they're watching or whatever streaming service they're watching, they might watch it thinking this is the original version in its purest form, not realizing that it's been cut to pieces to not just to appease the mob who say, well, this needs to be cut out because this is offensive. Like we say about the French Connection, cutting out a certain word. Now, is Reservoir Dogs next? Would Quentin Tarantino just sit back and go, like, you can just cut the N word out because I don't mind if you just cut that word out. I don't care. I think he'd have a lot to say about it.
Oh, he would. I think he would stick to his guns on it, like. And so we should.
But like when it comes to streaming, how much say would a director have in how it's put out? Because Friedkin, because they've cut the N word out of the French Connection. Now Friedkin's passed on now, rest in peace. But who has the authority to say no? This belongs to me. This belongs to us.
Studio,
like who?
I would think.
So they just take the money, do they, and go, yeah, you can just do that. I mean,
without knowing,
probably, man. As sad as that is.
And how do they cut it? I've not seen this French Connection version. Did they just really awkwardly just blank it out, or did they recut it?
It's a hard cut.
So,
so the scene in question is that Popeye Doyle, who is nominally our hero in the film. The whole point of French Connection. Sorry for people who haven't seen the film, but the whole point is that the cop is as corrupt as possible.
Yeah.
And the drug dealer is actually kind of an clean, upstanding citizen.
He's the good guy kind of thing.
Right. So on the surface level, the roles are reversed. And there's a point where Popeye Doyle, it's not just the N-word. He throws through a bunch of ethnicities that he doesn't want to associate with.
Yeah.
It's who the character is. And the point of the film is to suggest that justice doesn't align to morality, that we decide as a culture what justice is. Drug laws were produced based on an idea, not on some immutable characteristic of good and evil, right? It's kind of big material for an action film, right? By taking the line out, it's only one line. The movie still gets its point across. It's a strong film. But it's there for a reason. It does inform the audience of some pretty key information. The same speech, by the way, was lifted for Dirty Harry. It's oh yeah, hey, Harry hates everyone, and Clint Eastwood goes through a list of people he hates and uses ethnic slurs for every one of them. It's the same scene. I mean, it's the same point. Obviously, Dirty Harry as a character softened as that series went on, and Popeye Doyle in the next film becomes a drug addict and even more horrible. But
there's a scene. Sorry, I don't know if you're aware of like Fawlty Towers. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a famous scene in Fawlty Towers with the it's I can't remember what episode it is, but see with the Major. And he just drops the hard N word.
He does.
And it's
funny though.
It's funny, but the thing is though, it's like he is of a time, and Basil Fawlty, who's a bigoted guy himself, even like sort of.
But that's the comedy of it, mate. That's the point.
Yeah, it's showing a time and a place. Yeah. Even this is the mid-70s when it was a lot more like normalized back then, but. Basil Fawlty, who was a guy in that point in his 40s, even he kind of like goes, whoa, because he recognizes that the Major, this is a guy who was in his 70s, was 8. This is a guy who was born in like probably
back in the 70s.
The 18. This is probably a guy who's born like the late 1800s, early 1900s, who was dropping a word in, which is perfectly normal to him. And Basil Fawlty kind of, the bigoted Basil Fawlty, even he kind of goes, whoa. You know, and it's like it's poking fun in a way of like at a previous time.
We're so formed by our culture, and our culture is so formed by our entertainment. So, like, from Shakespeare to the Barbie movie, I suppose, like everything that touches us informs us in some way. I don't think that by stopping people from using certain words or expressing certain ideas, even if they're doing so irresponsibly, is making us better as a society. I don't think it's fulfilling that responsibility to explore our world and figure out what the truths really look like. Why are all ethnic slurs a bad idea? Because none of us want to be reduced to an ethnic slur ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So the word shouldn't be off table. What we should do is explore why the word shouldn't be used, and then maybe people wouldn't want to use them. Yep. But if you say you can't use it, it almost makes the word attractive to people who are going to completely miss the message, right? Because now you've buried it. I've always said too, on a personal level, I wish people would go around using, ethnic slurs all the time. You know why? Because then I know who they are and I don't have to be friends with them and find out later.
Yeah. Very good point, mate.
I want to know how many there are. But Griffin, come on. That's how about the rest of the movie after that scene?
Give me 2 seconds, guys. Sorry.
I think that there's something about the impulse to censor things you don't like that comes just down to childhood. It's like you didn't like something, you're going to scream and throw it across the room and stamp your feet. Rather than as an adult, what you should do is like look at the thing. Well, why don't I like this thing? And you might have very good reasons, but take a look at it. Explore.
Well, I've always said, like, the way cancel culture has always gone for the most popular sort of art forms in terms of music and TV and movies and books. And I said I've always argued that eventually it'll come for something like horror movies, which is like less mainstream. So a movie like Terrifier 2. Something like the Terrifier franchise became like a bigger nail to hammer, they'd be like cancel, because Terrifier and Terrifier 2 feature scenes that some people may consider like problematic in what they portray. But
I remember,
it's like
I remember when Halloween 2018 was coming out. There was people on Twitter stating that the movie should better be careful and not present mental illness in a negative light. Think about that for a while.
Well, the whole don't forget, was it 28? Was it Kills with the gay couple are killed?
Yeah.
Was that so?
Halloween
They
Kills,
said that Michael Myers was homophobic. Michael Myers, he's an equal opportunist. He kills anybody. He killed a young boy in Halloween Kills. I mean, he doesn't like. He doesn't kill babies. That's where he draws the line. But anybody else is
by looks of it, yeah. But it feels like people just want to jump Like they just want to jump on a fucking rage for like no reason. Like I remember that actually came out with Halloween Kills. I remember that, and I just thought, oh, just shut the fuck up, stop, serious. Like, oh my god, like, oh, how are we going to really bring it down to like so? Oh, he killed a gay couple. He's homophobic. I was like, well, he literally. Oh, well,
if they want to
he literally killed an old black woman at the beginning. Is he racist? Like, you could just. It's so stupid.
Jason was killing black people in the 80s. Nobody called Jason racist.
The fact that he kills a gay couple and then some people are up in arms over it. He just kills people.
It's like
these people are labeling. Like, they don't realize what they're doing. They're labeling them. Shut up.
They have a gay couple in it. They have a gay couple in it to keep.
Yeah,
because there will be people if they didn't have a gay couple in it, there'll be people complaining that there's enough diversity. So they have a mixed race couple, they have a gay couple, and they all get killed.
Yeah,
that's equal opportunities as far as I'm concerned.
No, they're not allowed to die. Apparently, this is the problem, right? So this is what I'm trying to say. I've had a few wines tonight, so I'm probably not articulating it as well.
You are right,
but it winds me up. So they brought that up as like
you can have them in the movie, but you can't kill them.
Exactly. So they bring it up in a negativity for the movie. They're like, "Oh, we kill gay people." It's like, well, okay, yeah, why not?
Can I ask a serious
don't get it. I don't get the issue. I don't get the problem. Someone else could turn around and say, "Oh, he killed a 50-year-old fucking firefighter at the beginning," and make a big issue with that. What is the difference? There isn't one. I don't get it.
It's the thing that really bothers me about all of it is that none of this would be important to anyone if these movies were so compelling.
Yeah.
If the writing and directing and acting and the whole package was just so amazing, you wouldn't give a shit about any of this. I promise you.
No, yeah.
I'm
sure, mate.
The fact that we are just in a place where our entertainment is pretty crappy. It's being there's a lot of ways it's being made more proficiently. There's a lot better education that goes into the creation of all of it.
Yeah.
But truthfully, if you want to fix all this, just create much better films.
Yeah, true.
And then, I mean, is anyone complaining that I mean, isn't the original Halloween like pretty much all white girls? I mean, if we're being honest, it's
look, listen, it's at some point, I feel like these people are going to attack these. Like it's going to happen at some point. I'm amazed Blazing Saddles hasn't even been jumped on yet. I'm amazed.
Blazing Saddles is about this issue, so they it's self-defeating.
But these people aren't intelligent, mate. They're thick as shit. So they'll jump on that to be like, this is racist, and then we can all turn around and go, that's the joke. You're being angry at something that
for
the
being what it is.
Movie is self-aware with. Like, that's the issue I've got with these groups. That when they pick on this shit, it's like, well, yeah.
Well, listen,
you're not getting what the fucking movie is actually trying to say to you. You're picking at it at the. Oh, it's an issue that it just drives me crazy.
Listen. I'm personally as far against racism, homophobia, discrimination of any sort as you can imagine.
100%.
I consider myself a libertarian for a reason because I think both sides of the political spectrum and in my country are hopelessly endemic of racist values.
Yeah.
I judge people on the singular. I will never judge you by the friends you keep. I will judge you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: mass media is like taking a sledgehammer to a finishing nail. You know, it'll get the job done, sure, but it ain't gonna be pretty.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you didn't have Twitter and Instagram and TikTok to express extreme viewpoints and get that likes or comments or whatever you're searching for, whatever validation that you're searching for, that you have value as a person because you attacked everyone else.
Yeah.
If that's the real life you're living, that's cool. I have friends from all across the spectrum of people in all different walks of life from all different places, and I'm proud of every one of those friendships. But guess what? There's people I'm not friends with from all those walks of life too, and there's a
Very
good
true,
reason.
mate. Yeah.
So it's like, to me, like, what do I want to see? My favorite movie of last year was from Senegal. You know, my favorite film of this year so far is from India. I'm not the guy to come at, you know.
Yeah.
But other people are just reading the hostility out there, and it gets very worrying. It weighs you down, and then you get people angry, and you get angry YouTube videos about cancel culture, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's like, if everyone would just kind of judge everything for what they want to see, and if you don't like something, turn it off. There's something else for you out there.
Exactly.
Now, if someone shows up on your front lawn with a burning cross, get out the gun. I'm all for you pulling that motherfucker away. That's a whole different issue.
Yeah, of course.
But before you call someone Hitler, let's like actually kill Hitler.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's mate. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You articulated it far better than what I ever could.
That's Lord's job.
Yeah,
it
is, isn't it? He just takes what we say, just like, I'll put it in a better context for you, and it's like, thank you, Lord.
I'm the king of stupid fucking metaphors, but everyone gets it.
This stream would have been 90 minutes long if it hadn't been for Lord.
I love it, though.
I know I do.
I love it. It's great.
You know, that's the thing, too. It's like, I want film, and I want books, and I want comic books, and I want music.
Yeah.
To all feel like they can go anywhere and do anything. And if they make a misstep, if they cross a social boundary that they shouldn't have stepped, there's a mechanism out there called the public interest that should take care of it.
Yeah.
The outcry actually retards that, because what happens is it ends up putting more attention on the material that's supposedly offensive.
Yeah.
Whereas the offensive material should get less exposure. And so it's all really backwards. I don't like anyone being called a slur. If you've been on my channel, you know that there's a speech I give to every one of my guests before they could get on board. And I say, listen, there's no censorship here. There's no restriction on what words you can use, but there's no ethnic slurs. There's no talk about religion, and there's no talk about overt politics. And the reason is because I want people to come to my channel to have a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And you can't have a good time with those things.
No, you can't.
Increasingly, I believe that. Now, in a personal conversation, I will talk about any of those things with you.
Yeah.
I won't use the slurs, but I'll talk about any of those subjects with you. But to me, like, why are you throwing that on a YouTube video? Why are you throwing that into a slasher movie? Doesn't particularly make sense.
Yeah.
I'm all for a gay couple in a slasher film if those characters are cool and compelling. To me, they were barely written in mostly improv performances that I found obnoxious. Yeah. In the case of the movie you're talking about. But then again, that whole movie was like that. Every character felt like that. So
they did feel like it's almost like, how can we get the most stereotypical gay couple into a movie? And it
really
just like
that,
it just seemed a bit like, it was a bit insultingly sort of like generic. If you know
Here we
what I
go,
mean.
Lorne. I've got a question for you. How did you find Halloween Ends?
He hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
He's never watched it.
Perfect answer. Never watch it.
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about. I discovered with Kills, I hit the wall. I said,
okay.
So, by the way, let's preface this. The last Halloween film I liked was H2O. Okay.
I like H2O as well, yeah.
It has been a quarter of a century since there's been a Halloween film that I've enjoyed. Why would I watch another one?
Mm-hmm.
There's other movies to watch that I have a far better chance of enjoying. And there's people who say, how can you not? It's like, dude, I'll turn to every one of them and say, hey, I watched a film called it's called Ragu this year, which is a Indian film about a guy who's being blackmailed by a guy on a phone. There's only one actor in the movie. If that doesn't compel you to see how they pull off an action-oriented film with only one actor, I don't know what to tell you. But I can tell you one thing. It's going to be a hell of a lot more compelling than Halloween Ends is. I know that without having seen Halloween Ends. I'm not going to watch films that I have a 99% chance of not enjoying. I'm never going to watch another Scream movie. Why would I? I haven't liked a Scream movie since the first. And to be honest with you, I don't even like that movie anymore on reviewing. The initial view I did like. Didn't love, but I liked. But I haven't liked any of the Scream sequels. Why would I watch another one? What, so I can go on YouTube and complain about it?
No, it makes sense.
I don't know whether we've ever had this conversation about Halloween, Lorne, because I've mentioned it numerous times in numerous streams, and you probably commented in the comment section, but I don't know whether we've ever had this conversation one-to-one, but like, because obviously you're a fan of H2O, you like H2O, You've seen 2018,
it, so.
and I've mentioned this numerous times, but like Laurie's personality in H2O is so much more realistic to the situation of the first movie or two movies, however timeline you're in, to 2018, where why is she in that state when he was arrested on the night? Okay, he killed a couple of people, killed a couple of her friends. He's in jail, and yet she's in full lockdown, like, survivor mode. And then in the beginning of Halloween Ends, which you've not seen, she's just like happy-go-lucky, all's well with the world. Michael's murdered a daughter. He's on the run, and she's just like buying groceries at the grocery store, having nice conversations with the sheriff.
Yeah, he's still out there, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like H2O perfectly H2O perfectly encapsulated how somebody they're surviving, but they've got issues, but they're holding down a good job. That's exactly how I imagine Laurie would.
It's better than that from a character viewpoint. So think about the character Laurie that we meet in Halloween in 1978, right? She's this girl who doesn't want to leave school without making sure she has all of her books. She walks home with her friends who are talking about boys, and she has nothing really to say. When a boy she likes is mentioned, she kind of shrinks into her own shell. She stands in her window, looks down at a guy standing in her backyard, and with a growing sense of unease. She's afraid of men as a teenager. She's shy, she's introverted, but she's scholastically very skilled. This is the character we've built. But why does she survive? Because she also has a maternal instinct, a strong maternal instinct to protect those kids. She makes the right move with those kids throughout the whole movie. Telling them to run down the street to avoid, because Michael could get up. She's hurt. She's not going to fucking be able to keep up with him. She tells him to go ahead. Right? That's the character. Now, Halloween 2, obviously, she's drugged for the whole movie, so it's hard to have much character development there. But H2O presents that character. Her relationship with her boyfriend is strained. She is alcoholic because she's trying to avoid. Watch how she treats the female students versus the male students. Look how she treats her own son, overprotective, but a little bit condescending. She's the headmistress of a school. All of this maps to the first film's character. All of it.
Yeah.
There's a tension there. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis's performance itself is all over the map. I'll always say that opening scream is pitiful. But I will say that it is the character I met in 78 entirely.
It's
2018.
It's definitely more the Laurie Strode that you know from the original than 2018.
No, I'll go further. 2018. What is similar about the two characters besides the actress playing them? Where's her that book smart intelligence? Where's it on display? Nowhere. What is she doing for a living? I don't know. We don't get to know. She's fiercely protective of her kids. Yeah. But she also didn't move them out of the fucking town where she's worried a lunatic is going to escape from. She's dumb. Laurie Strode was never dumb. Creating a complex trap in the basement? Does that feel like Laurie Strode to anyone? Does that feel like Ellen Ripley? It's just bullshit. And it's not even my Ellen Ripley. It's the Ellen Ripley from the film I don't like. So
you make a very good point. Like, I haven't even thought about that until you've just brought it up right now. And the thing is, I actually quite like the 2018 Halloween movie, but you make a very good point when you just said that. I'm like,
it's just a different character.
Yeah.
And that character is based on something we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I'm sure the producers looked and said, what do audiences want in a female character today? Oh, what if we have her being a gunslinging badass, and she's knocking back drinks, but it's kind of like a Kurt Russell in The Thing kind of like swagger, right? Yeah. That's who she is in that movie. That's not the character we met in the 78 film. I'm not saying you can't have a character progress. This might be too obscure for you guys. I'm very sorry, but I don't care. When we meet the character of Bobby Briggs, played by Dana Ashbrook in the original Twin Peaks series, he is a kid. He's a rebel without a cause kid in 1989 with swagger, and he's selling drugs, and he's just a crazy kid. Clearly villainous, but he does have a heart, but he's clearly slightly villainous. When we revisit him in the season 3, 25 years later, he's a deputy in the police. Now, what's the difference? the series actually shows us visually why that happened. We see that Laura's death had an impact, that he straightened out his life because of her. And they do that with an actor looking at a photograph and starting to cry. That's the difference between David Lynch as an artist progressing a character and the crap that wasn't done in Halloween 2018. They needed a scene to justify who Laurie is. And you're right. Killed 2 of her friends and 2 people she didn't know. Just was in prison for 25 years. No credible reason to believe he was anything more than what
it was. Yeah.
Well, another thing about 2018 as well is Judy Greer's character is the film set in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
The original movie is 78. Mm-hmm. Judy Greer is around about late 30s, so we're suggesting that Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie's character, got pregnant like within like a year or 2 of the events of the original Halloween movie, which doesn't
map who she was. She was a shy girl.
Yeah,
a shy girl that just been through trauma.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit in with the whole.
Now it works better if Halloween 2, and specifically the television cut of Halloween 2, is canon, because then you can say she got together with the guy who works at the hospital, right?
Yeah.
But because they say 2 didn't happen, it's just some random guy that we never get introduced to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not Laurie. That's not Laurie at all.
And plus, we're supposed to believe that she raises a child who then has a grandchild. You would think that having a child, we don't know the situation with the father, but you think that would ground her a little bit and like make her, you know.
Could we have said the same about H2O with her son at the time?
Well, there's not a grandchild.
You know,
the timetable.
No, I know.
Never gonna be
when like
nice, but
because he was only supposed to be like what 17 at the time.
H2O doesn't ignore Halloween 2.
Yeah. Good point.
But you know what? It doesn't even matter. These are little slasher films.
Yeah.
My point is that if we're going to continue these long running slasher franchises and pull this crap like, hey, remember that person or that thing that you like so much? It's back. Can we at least treat that thing with some reverence, some respect? And to me, what we got was a fangirl fantasy of a tough action hero from a 70-year-old who's more comfortable selling, fucking dietary shakes. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And no offense to Jamie Lee Curtis, she's actually not horrible in that first one. I'm going to argue that in the second film, everyone's horrible. I don't think anyone could elevate that material. But the problem is also the final cut of the film kind of betrays her character pretty much because they excised and reshot so much that she makes no sense as a character. But I just think that we should do better, and we should stop worrying about what people want and tell the story that needs to be told if we're going to continue doing this.
Agreed.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
always worry that they'll make a Blob remake today because those archetypes that are in both the original and the 80s remake don't exist anymore. Those type of kids don't exist. And today's kids playing video games, how's that going to work? And that's so key to those movies is that kind of regular kids on a Saturday night going on a date, like suddenly they find a blob on a stick and that's going to lead to bad things. By the way, you can't tell what thematically is going on there, right? What's a gooey substance on a stick is the problem. But yeah, there's certain things that I think just need to be written of their time. And we shouldn't try and keep making this endless sequels to things that are out of their time. I'll tell you what I would like to see, and this is if I could pitch a Halloween movie.
Go! I need to hear this.
I used to have this whole pitch of remaking the original and how to do it right as a remake.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. What I would do would be something called Halloween 1957. I'd take the original Halloween story and place it in 57. Back when the urban legend that it's clearly based on originally showed up. And I think a period piece of that time would open you up to a much creepier, much cooler film. You wouldn't have to change a whole lot, but everything I think would just be that much more relevant. I think it'd be cool. Hollywood
bad
would
shout.
never do that.
No. No,
And
unfortunately not.
on that note, I think I'm going to have to wrap things up because we have been streaming. You know what? I started the stream at like 20 to 10, thinking, you know what? I'll start the stream early and I'll get to bed at a reasonable time. And it's 10 to 1 in the morning. So even...
Do you know what, man? I haven't even felt that time go.
No, it's flew by, man.
Yeah,
Once again, the states screw you guys over.
That's the Lorne effect.
as always.
Well, thank you guys. I haven't been doing a lot out there, and it just
Oh,
good to talk to you guys.
always
Well,
welcome. man.
it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you as well. It's been too long.
Well, it's not been too long for me. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago, but
For me,
it's always nice. It's always nice to talk to Lorne. So
Yeah.
Said no one ever.
Lorne, do you want to plug anything apart?
Hey, yeah, it's not gonna be what you're expecting though. Fresh out this month was the Horror Library Volume 8. It's an anthology series. It has luminaries like Bentley Little in it. It also has me in it. So you should definitely go to Amazon and pick up your copy of Horror Library Volume 8. This is the state of horror. It's basically a yearbook for where the literary arts in horror is at right now. I have a long history with this anthology series, and it's just it makes me overwhelmingly proud to be part of it. This is the top tier stuff. There's some incredible work in here. So, Horror Library 8, go buy it.
Definitely. Send me the link to that, Lorne, if you can.
Sure.
Dave, closing in on 700 subs.
Yeah, can you believe it? Like, it surprises me. I've got to be honest with you. Yeah, close on 700. I'm so grateful for everyone that even like just spends like 2 seconds on my channel. Thank you for everyone that's watching this. Thank you for everyone that's subscribed to me, watches my videos. I generally really appreciate it. I've literally just finished doing the whole Elm Street series from the remake. Up to the remake. So next I've got 28 days later, 28 weeks later. Hopefully I'll have the new Dracula movie. What was that called? The Last Voyage of Demeter, or whatever it's called. That one? Yeah, that's it. Hopefully I'll have that out soon. Other than that, yeah, not a lot going on. But thank you for everyone that continues to support my channel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. For everyone who jumped on board tonight, thank you so much. Nearly over 3 hour stream, man. Jesus. I need to go to bed. For everyone. When's the next Region 3 stream? It's the 13th. It's the 13th of every month, isn't it? So
13th of every month.
okay, that's it. I can never remember.
Lots of surprises. It's set for the rest of the year.
I'm looking forward to October's Region 3 stream. That should be a good one.
Don't you say a word.
Because it's on a Friday.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you everyone who watched. Thank you, Lorne. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, everybody.
Good
Cheers.
night.